double from Colvin. It leaves Caravan open.
What a find by Newton. Off the side of the backboard. Break opportunity. Newton to Diarra. Right down the middle. He lays it in. He controlled the half court. Give it up. Big time tipsy to Diarra for two.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Pete Sheppard Show here and live from the Naples Wealth Planning Studio on the Riptide Media Network. How about that new logo? Loving that? Oh, man, unbelievable. Lots going on. We're going to recap it all, starting with the Huskies going back-to-back, baby. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. It's only Tuesday, but it feels like Friday, doesn't it? For some who stayed up late last night, that NCAA March Madness championship title game that the Huskies won over Purdue 75-60. That didn't get over till a little bit after 11:30. If you stayed up like I did afterwards and watched some of the post-game stuff, you really didn't get to bed until after midnight. But who cares? I'm going on about 3.5 hours sleep. But that's all right. That's all right, because it is the Pete Sheppard Show, as always, 7 to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, right here in the Naples Wealth Planning Studio on the Riptide Media Network. To watch the show, so many platforms. Executive producer Angel Martinez seems to add one every single day. So you can watch the show on Twitter, on X. Follow me at pshep326. You can watch it on my Facebook page and Broad Street South Facebook and YouTube pages. Also on Rumble, LinkedIn, and now Spotify. And text the show, 727-858-6650. It's the temporary, it's the text line for now on this show. And 781-418-0142, 781-418-0142 if you want to call. Just one guest coming up today, my buddy Mick Colagio, great NHL insider, is coming your way at 9:30. We'll talk a little hockey, but lots to discuss here. The rundown, as I said, UConn winning 75-60. We'll get into the finer points of the game. Some funny moments last night during the broadcast on TBS. Of course, with Charles Barkley, Kenny the Jet Smith and company, and the whole crew. Ernie Johnson, and Jay Wright, fantastic, and saying he absolutely is not going back to try to coach Kentucky. We'll get into all of that as well. Got an MLB. Great night of comebacks last night. Some great cuts for you. Some great play-by-play sound from last night in Major League Baseball. There was no NBA games last night because of the national championship game. And a couple of NHL games that we'll get to, and maybe a Masters preview. And the other story, Angel Martinez, EA Sports College Football 25 is coming out July 19th. I may have to go out, even at 57 years young, I may have to go out and purchase another Xbox. This was one of my favorite games of all time. You know why? Because I used to pick the shittiest teams, like Ball State or something like that.
Right.
And, you have to play in the conference schedule. But and then you can, the normal schedule will be there for 2025, the same teams that they're going to play this year, the exact same schedule. But as you go on to the next season, it'll ask you to autofill, out of conference and everything. It's pretty cool. So I used to pick the worst teams to try to get it, and now there was no college football playoff back then when I had it. But now you try, you just had to finish number one. But now with the college football playoff, and especially a 12-team playoff, that's good. I'm going to have to get it. I think I'm going to have to get it.
I think it's going to be a big seller. And I know some of the guys, which it makes me laugh because some of the guys are saying that they don't want in on it, which I don't get it. I would think so. If I'm in a video game, someone's telling me I'm going to be in there. Yeah, I'm putting my name in there. But no, it's going to be good. Thankfully, I still own. I've told, for those who don't know, for me being the newest edition here, I am a huge nerd. I'm still a nerd till this day. And
I can out-nerd you.
Xbox. Yeah.
I think I can out-nerd you. I can one-up nerd you. I think I can. I think I'm more nerdy in certain subjects than you are. And I don't think you match my nerdiness with cartoons and movies. And
Probably not.
Maybe video game. You probably got me in video games, but I mean, I love. But when I had video games, the only really non-action one I used to have was Halo. You know, I never got into, trying to save the country while you're sitting on your couch playing a video game, all that stuff. But I love FIFA. I loved, obviously love Madden.
You know which one's actually really hard till this day is MLB The Show. If you go through as the coming in as a minor leaguer to be able to make it, it's tough. But then if you want to be a pitcher, holy mollies, man! Do you have to? I mean, it's just in a video game. I can imagine obviously being an actual pitcher as the athlete, but it's such a pain. But it's so fun though because you get frustrated, not to the point where you're breaking stuff. But it's like, man, I threw that a certain way, and the guy still launches it. But it's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah. And I used to like it, but it was like too easy to hit home runs sometimes. I didn't play a lot against people, but playing against a computer sometimes, and I don't know. It just seemed like there was a lot of home runs. It was tough to get through 5 innings if you're a pitcher because he gets tired so quickly. Even AI wusses out on pitchers nowadays, even in video games. Nobody can go 9 innings anymore. God forbid. God forbid. Well, it's great having Angel Martinez here, executive producer of the entire network, of Riptide Media Network. You are the you are the man. I'm telling you, you are. Every day, I'm amazed at what goes up here. And what you've done. Great stuff. And I saw some pictures yesterday with you and the lovely Debbie. I thought I would have jumped in and swam, but not supposed to touch a manatees. You had a nice lunch out in the Tampa area and on a water view. You had baby manatee come up to you. That was really cool. Some good stuff. Glad you enjoyed it. Another beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. So it has been really perfection for the last week. It really has. Hate to say it. Hate to make all of you jealous around the country and around the world, but this is why we moved down here.
Yep. That's a simple reason, because it's beautiful weather this time of year, and then give it another week, we'll be in a blazing heat. But for right now, the way how you could take the best pictures right now because there's no humidity, the air is thinned out, but the temperatures are absolutely perfect.
Yes, they are. All right, shall we get to it? Last night, the Connecticut Huskies back-to-back championships over Purdue, 75-60. Got a lot of highlights for this one. UConn wins its 6th national championship game, 2nd in a row. 2 number 1 seeds going at it in Glendale, Arizona at State Farm Stadium. Victory marked UConn's 12th straight double-digit win in NCAA tournament action. That is absolutely historic. They're the first team to repeat, as you know, since Billy Donovan's Florida Gators did it 2006 and 2007 back in the day. So let's just start with let's get to some of the highlights from the game. It was close for a while in this one, but you just knew when UConn always seems to get the last couple of buckets at the end of the half. Let me make sure I get these in order here. Well, there's a couple of highlights. Zach Edey was outstanding, obviously, but they did great defense by UConn last night. Edey had a tremendous game at 37 and 10, but everybody else sucked. Not sucked, but they couldn't get it going. However, Camden Heide, this was one of the great plays of the game.
And it should have been offensive. Lawyer, feed it. Edey missed it. Major highlight from Heide. Camden Heide living up to his last name. Looks like Heide for the jam.
It's like 30 years ago. G. Hill registered big time.
Yeah, that was he came out of nowhere for that dunk. Did. It was fantastic. Meanwhile, here's a Zach Edey highlight. Got to get him one.
Good defender, can make threes. McGillis a good passer and pick and pop. Smith
upstairs. Juggo jam. Zach Edey.
Great set out of that timeout, getting Smith downhill. Klingon coming over to try to help, and the great 1-2 combination there. Smith.
Yes. Getting good positive feedback on the Riptide Media Network logo, Angel. So that, I know we're trying out some stuff, but I got to tell you, I like this one. Meanwhile, Connecticut highlighted, how about Klingon? This floater helps seal back-to-back titles, baby.
It amazes me with UConn. They can run when they have to, and they run their sets quickly and sharply and eat up a lot of clock while doing it.
Screen, Klingon. Caravan takes the baseline. Klingon, yes.
And how about Caravan?
Klingon was unbelievable last night. Some of the blocks in the game between Klingon and Edey, mostly Klingon, the blocks were just absolutely outstanding. In the end, here's the final call.
What an amazing run. It is a Yukon coronation. The Huskies make history. Back-to-back national champions. Number 1 lives up to the billing. They defeat Purdue 75-60. They've done it again.
Yes, they have. Absolutely unbelievable. Got a lot of great inside the numbers type of thing I'm going to get to in a second. But I kind of want to keep this in order a little bit as far as last night on, of course, the crew, Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, Kenny the Jet Smith, Jay Wright, and company. They had a lot of fun during this game. Now, I will say this. I meant to open the show as well. And, Angel, I want to know where you were yesterday. Did you survive the eclipse? I was taking a nap at 1 o'clock. I took a nap from 1 to 3 p.m. yesterday. So when I got up, it was a beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. So I looked a little – sky looked a little off. But I am proud to say I did not – spend 1 second looking at the sun. How was it where you were? When you were having lunch around that time, right?
Yeah, there was no change. Honestly, there wasn't any change. So I don't know. If anybody expected anything different down here in Southwest Florida, you were sadly mistaken because nothing changed. You may have gotten a slight shade, at the most. But you had to be out there by Texas, like Texas, Arkansas. Those places end up getting the full effect from it. But for here, no. It was honestly, I got so tired of the coverage that I could care less by the time it came around.
Well, so Charles Barkley shares your opinion.
I thought it was maybe the Chuck blimp that got in the way.
Hey, well, y'all, some of them losers standing outside watching that today.
They're not losers.
Yes, they are.
It doesn't happen often.
Hey, we've all seen darkness before. Stop it.
No, not in the daylight.
Come on, man.
Come on, Chuckster, don't hate on the eclipse.
Come on, stop
listen,
it.
I saw losers standing watching your blimp. How about that? They were outside. Have you seen Chuck's blimp?
So you're not a fan. You're not a fan of the.
Well, I'm not going to sit outside like an idiot and wait on the darkness.
Did you not wait on your blimp?
I could have waited. It's going to be dark when we go outside.
Can I ask you a second? Did you ask your family to wait on your blimp outside?
I was trying to get my grandson to watch.
See, there it is. So what are you talking about?
Hey, the eclipse going to happen again. I ain't going to ever have another blimp.
Boy, that's
a good thing.
This was a very worthwhile segment. Let's go over to the AT&T connection.
We'll have more a little bit later, but go ahead, Angel. What?
I like what the funny part was for those who didn't see it last night. I'm pretty sure there's a replay somewhere, but it's actually Charles Barkley's head that's going towards the sun, which causes the eclipse.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. They said the blip. Did he have something outside? I only caught the tail end of the. Something was outside. There might have been. There wasn't. He didn't say it wasn't like a balloon of him or something outside. Maybe it was.
No, it was So I think he was talking about. He was supposed to say the Goodyear blimp, but for some reason he kept saying the blip.
Blip, yeah, exactly. So that confused me. Meanwhile, after the game, head coach of the Yukon Husky, Dan Hurley, on his dad, even after back-to-back for me, says, I'm still just a worse version of him.
Could you put in perspective how incredible that is that two guys in the same family have done this? And what does it mean to your family?
Yeah, it's incredible. I think it's incredible to join Bob in that club. And it just Bob was in the arena tonight. He wanted to kind of stay out of the camera lens, so it was he was in a box, enjoying the comfort of that tonight. So it was just awesome to have him here for that. And then obviously my dad. It's like my dad. He looks at me and he looks at my brother and he sees us coaching in college and what it would have looked like, for him if he was doing it. So I know it means a lot to me and Bob to again, we're the version of my father that would be coaching in college. We're even after back-to-back for me, I'm still just a worse version of him.
I mean, his dad won 26 titles in New Jersey at St. Anthony's. I mean, just a legendary high school basketball coach. But speaking of Bobby did come out of his little cocoon up there in the luxury boxes and came down the set with the boys on TBS. And interesting conversation between he and Chuck, as you might imagine.
Talked about that last week, wearing the same underwear and washing them in the hotel. Heard about the M&Ms, and take out the ones of the opposing team, the color of the opposing team. Are all these superstitions a Dan Hurley thing or a Hurley family thing? Are you the same way?
We all have routines, and we talk about our crazy routines that we have. I don't eat on game day; that's mine. I want to make myself suffer and sacrifice before I have to go out and perform.
Are you serious?
Yes. No food on game day.
Oh my God!
I fast.
Yeah.
That's my way of sacrifice.
I eat fast on game day, and he eat fast on game day and not on game day.
That's true. How can you go a whole? That's not healthy. How can you? What if your game is? What if your game is at 7:30, say at night, and you wake up in the morning, say 6:30,
right?
And you don't eat all day? How do you survive? How can you coach a game?
I don't think you need fuel for the body, no matter what. I mean, even people on Naked and Afraid need to eat something, whether it's an ant or something else. But you got to eat something.
That's crazy, absolutely crazy. Meanwhile, here's Dan Hurley. He's still trying to process winning back-to-back.
Put into words for me what it means to win back-to-back national championships.
It probably won't set in until you maybe get back on the bus, because your head's spinning right now. You didn't expect that type of game, but just what a dominant performance, and you're just so happy that that guys like Cam and Steph and those guys that haven't experienced the national championship now, they're going to get the ring, they're going to get the banner, they're going to get the whole thing.
Zach had 37 and 10. How'd you shut off the water for everyone else?
Well, we were willing to just kind of single it up, and the games that they've lost this year, they didn't get the production from Lawyer, Jones, Smith, and Giller. So, we wanted to take those four guys out, and if Zach went for 48 and those other guys didn't score, they didn't have a chance to win.
And lastly, after everything you lost last year, what makes this run and the manner in which you did win this so impressive?
I just think we're old school values, man, in terms of how hard we work, the type of people that we bring in. But we're also, we play modern basketball, and I think we've got a great formula right now for the people that we bring into the organization. And then, and I think we got a good formula with how we go about playing ball.
Congratulations.
Let's go, baby.
Meanwhile, UConn's big man, Donovan Clingan, talked about the dominating performance in the tournament and, of course, how great the coaching staff is.
A dominant run, Donovan, 2 years in a row, every single win in the tournament by at least 13 points or more. Your margin this year was bigger than last year. Take me inside. How'd you pull it off?
The way we practice, we have the best coaching staff in the country. We have 4 head coaches on our staff. Everyone's willingness to just buy in and give everything they got every single day. And, just that competitive will and that competitive effort to just go out there and win every possession, win every practice, win every game.
Yeah, great stuff there. And he has a message, Angel, for everybody in the country about UConn.
I'm joined by Donovan Clingan, back-to-back, the first time since Florida did it in 06, 07, Donovan. How did this happen?
And, we got the best staff in the country. We got the best team in the country. No one works as hard as us. No one. I promise you that. No one practices 2.5 hours a day before a game. This team just loves each other, man. Look at everyone's happy for one another. Everyone, man, best decision of my life to come to school.
You guys lost a lot when you won the national championship last year. What was it about the new players and the improvement of the returnees that got you in the position to win a second straight national championship?
We realized, the returners really realized what it took to, go back and do this again. It's a very hard thing to do. It's hard to win a lot of games, but we're the most competitive team in the country, and all we want to do is win.
Zach Edey got his. How did you guys shut down everyone else?
Yeah, man, you just wall up. Don't give him the extra and ones, and just lock up the three-point line. He scores his 2 points, he scores his 2 points. We come back down and get 3. Three's more than 2.
Congratulations on the second straight title.
Yes, sir. Blue Bud. UConn is a blue bud.
All right, thanks to CBS once again. And I'll get to the inside the numbers stuff that will just fascinate you, and then get to some inside the numbers from the women's championship game on Sunday, which is mind-blowing. Here's Steph Castle. He's a freshman. He's the only freshman that started in the Final Four for anybody. He talked about winning the title.
Stephon came to UConn after they won a national title. Now that you won one of your own. What do you think was the main reason that this group of Huskies got it done?
I would just say a lot of credit to our coaching staff. They put us in the best positions to be successful, and I mean, they make it easy for everybody to buy into to this culture. So, I mean, this whole year has been an experience for me. I'm happy we got it done.
Where were you when they won the title last year?
I was actually on a cruise. I was going to Jamaica, so just to be here and to be a part of it, it's meant everything to me.
If I talked to that Stephon Castle on that cruise and told, you know what, a year from now, you'll be cutting the nets down, what would that Stephon Castle have told me must happen for that to occur?
I mean, exactly what happened this year. Everybody to buy in, and for us to have the right kind of guys, and I mean, just everybody to just to be great in their roles. And I mean, I feel like we did that all year and all tournament, and now national championship.
Purdue was the one team we kind of wondered, would you be able to beat them by double figures if Zach Edey scored 37 and 10, which he did? How were you guys able to extend that lead and finish them off?
I've been saying it all year. I mean, we're the best team in the country. I mean, we're prepared to play a full 40 minutes. So, I mean, our message at halftime was just to see if they can keep up with us for 40 minutes. And, I mean, once we got our offense going and we just took the three-point line away from them, I mean, we knew we'd be right where we wanted to be.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, what a feeling for him. Stephon Castle winning the title as a freshman. Absolutely outstanding. Patrick Ewing nearly did it as a freshman back in 1982. Yeah. Freddie Brown threw the ball away at the end of the game. Now let's get on to some Purdue stuff. And here's before the game, you saw Drew Brees was on the set, one of the most famous Purdue athletes, alum of all time. He had a message to the team before the game.
If you have, I'd like to hear what you shared to them at one point. And if you haven't, what would you say to them right now?
So I'm going to say it takes everybody, but you've earned the right to be here. You've earned the right to play for a championship. There's no better environment, no better atmosphere to do it, and no better team to do it against than UConn. Every step of the way, you've done it the right way. So go out there, relax, play ball.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Spoken like a true Super Bowl MVP.
100%.
You know, what as far as the big moment where they're at now, obviously you've been in the Super Bowl right before the game. What would you tell the players so the moment doesn't get too big, try to calm down? What would your message to them be?
You win the game before you step on the court. And I feel like we've won the game before we step on the court. With our preparation, with our mindset, the way that we've handled all of the adversity, we belong here.
Yeah, I think the adversity stuff is a little overplayed. I mean, obviously they were one of the best teams in the country all year, no question about it. And I know everybody wants to go back to them losing to Fairleigh Dickinson last year as a 116 seed, but in the 116 game. But it's so. I think it gets overplayed. Nobody respected us, this, blah, 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 blah. You were respected all season long. And I didn't think you were going to win the game last night. I think I had you going to the Elite Eight before losing. I think I had Creighton beating you on my bracket. But you were one of the best teams in the country all year. You've been number one for a number of weeks, as was UConn. Anyway, here's Purdue head coach Matt Painter on Zach Edey handling all the criticism.
And during that, as well as getting better and carrying this team, I wonder if you could just expand on that. All of that he had to go through.
Yeah, well, it's also a backhanded compliment, right? You know, the people like myself who average 4 points, no one really cares about you. Like the fans don't pay attention to you. I always call it cartoon bad guy. You know, you ever watch the cartoons and there's the bad guy that gets all the hate and everybody's coming at him. You know, like the best player in college basketball, the best player in your conference becomes cartoon bad guy. And so that's just, it's the way it is. But it's also a backhanded compliment. There's millions of basketball players out there that would love to carry that burden. Not everybody can do it. Very few get that. And, he's done it and he shows up. I'd always say when is he just going to have a bad game? When is he just not going to show up? He always showed up.
Okay. And before I get your reaction, Angel, as well, Zach Edey on Coach Painter saying he believed in me when nobody else did.
I don't know. It's like you said, it's tough. It's tough to think about that right now. Like I've always said, Payne's someone who kind of just gave me a chance. I've been trying for 4 years to pay him back for that. But he just came in. He believed in me when not a lot of people believed in me. And he gave me the ball. Not a lot of coaches did that. Not a lot of coaches trusted me in that role. Yeah, sorry. it's tough for me to think of stuff like that right now.
All right, one more from Zach Eady, and then I'll have my opinion and get Angels as well. Zach Eady says people can say whatever they want about him.
I think for me, the big thing is you can say whatever you want about me. You can say however I play. You can say whatever, but you can never say that I didn't give it my 100% every single time I stepped on the floor, every single time I went in practice, and that's what I always hang my hat on. I came in and I never didn't give it 100%.
I must have missed something during the eclipse, Angel. How long have I been out? I mean, where's all this crap that's coming out of his mouth? First of all, I know he's Canadian, okay, but still, these coaches are smart. I would love to see how many letters he got for different schools to talk about how others didn't believe in him. I bet you he had like 200 offers on the table for him. So I don't know what he's talking about. He's the AP Player of the Year, back-to-back years.
Yep.
What is this stuff? I mean, okay, when you're number one, I mean, you got to go through that. You're going to get the spotlight is going to be on you, but I don't know where all this criticism he thinks is coming from because I haven't heard it. I've heard just the opposite. And you want to focus on what happened in the 16-1 matchup last year with Fairleigh Dickinson. All right, that's unfair. It wasn't all about him. But come on, man. What is this self-pity crap that nobody believed in you? You're the best player in the country. Even though I would have voted personally, I would have voted for Connect from Tennessee this year. He would have been my vote. But Zach Eady is one of the best players in the country. I think he had an outstanding game last night, better than I thought he would. But when you look at how the defense in UConn, what they did to stop everybody else, still, he wasn't as clumsy as he was in the previous game. I thought he had a hell of a game. Where is this self-pity? What has happened? What's going on here? That people do you see a lot of columns? Maybe it's something in West Lafayette in Indiana where they're ripping the crap. I don't know. I'm not seeing all these articles that claim he's not good.
I haven't either. And you can try and do as many searches as you possibly can, but I haven't seen it. All this stuff about people don't believe me. Not too many schools believed in me. And you're right, because you have a lot more schools that reached out to Zach Eady than not even, I understand, like, obviously playing in Canada is a whole different story versus playing here in the States where you're able to play in a big tournament. And that's what he wanted from the very beginning. And I think he also put a comment out there too, not so long ago, about the NIL deal, how that should change and the perception of it and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know why he wants all this self-pity when he played a really good game last night. The only difference was that Dan Hurley knew that he gets tired easily. That's his problem. But as far as block shots, I mean, he had some moments last night where it happened, but I don't get it either. There's more athletes that feel that when they lose, it becomes a self-pity thing, and I don't understand it.
Look, you want self-pity, go back to 82 at Freddie Brown. I mean, that was a horrible thing. That's where you can have some self-pity when you throw the ball away to James Worthy down the stretch when the Georgetown Hoyas were going in for the, I think they would have won the game, with Ewing there as a freshman, by the way, from Cambridge, Massachusetts, via Jamaica. But the I don't understand where all this stuff is coming from. I really don't. He's a great player and needs to bulk up here. It's a great point you made about him getting tired. He was tired 7-8 minutes in, but he doesn't. You know what? Yeah, but that's what. But then he kind of gets going again, and he doesn't take a lot of breathers unless he occasionally gets into foul trouble. He doesn't take a lot of breathers. Quick break now, Angel, and then when we come back, we are going to hear. We're going to do. I'm going to give you some insider numbers from the game last night, and give you some insider numbers on both the men's and women's championship game that are going to blow your mind. So it is the Pete Sheppard Show here. I'm doing it live from the Naples Well Planning studio here on the Riptide Media Network. Check out our new logo. This might be the permanent one. We got a few other ones, but let us know what you think. Text in at 727-858-6650. Of course, on the entire platform, you can check us out. Twitter X, follow me at pshep326. Also on Sports Radio 102.9. Check that out. Facebook page, mine, and Broad Street's South Facebook page and YouTube pages on Rumble, LinkedIn. Oh, my God. Spotify. Oh, my God. Where else? All over the place. It's amazing. All right, Angel, quick break, and we're back. Pete Sheppard Show will continue. Inside the numbers from March Madness from the men and the women next.
What was that promise that you made? Now I'm gonna love you till the heavens start the rain. I'm gonna love you till the stars fall from the sky. For you and I. Come on, now touch me, babe. Can you see that I am not afraid? What was that promise that you made? Why won't you tell me what she said? What was that promise that you made? I'm gonna love you till the heavens stop the rain. I'm gonna love you till the stars fall from the sky. For you and I'm gonna love you till the heavens stop the rain. I'm gonna love you till the stars fall from the sky. For you and
Here on the Pete Sheppard Show, live here from Naples Wealth Planning Studio. Presidente Brian Bruno has checked in, as has his partner Rick Calhoun, saying how they like the logo and everything's going good. We're sounding good, looking good, feeling good, and love being here on the right here live at the Naples Wealth Planning Studio on the Riptide Media Network. Let us know what you think about the new logo. We have others as well, but we're debuting this this one this morning here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Of course, the one and only executive producer extraordinaire, Angel Martinez, is joining me as well. So we say good morning once again. Yes.
We got a text that came in from George Hawk 66, and he says, last night was like watching the old Celtics. Wilt Edey would get his points, but he would have to work for all of them. The rest of the Celtics would play tough D and would have a slew of assists and come out with a win. 5 usually beats 1. Thank you, George.
Nice. So what platform did that come on? Because I see George. Is that on? Did that come up on Facebook or did it come up on?
That came up on a text line or hot text line here from the.
Okay. I can't. Okay, great. I'm glad you're there because I didn't see it. That's awesome.
I'm getting that situated as well.
Oh, that's fine. You read, go away. And Hawk 66, George, I love you. I think he went to my high school back in the day, Bishop Hendricken High School. All they do is win championships in every sport. Not to brag, but it's true.
Just tell us a little more.
yeah, why not? What was I going to say? What were we talking about? Yeah. And you know what he means right there, because of those of you not familiar with the Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain stuff, Bill beat him every single time. And Wilt would have a whole bunch of great numbers, but in the end, the rebounding and there are more than one occasion the Lakers probably had on paper the better team, largely because of Wilt, but he couldn't overcome Bill Russell most of the time. Couldn't overcome him. Sticking with. I'm going to get inside the numbers in a second, but I did want to talk about this, about Jay Wright on the set last night. He confirmed he is not going to coach the Kentucky Wildcats.
Well, I will say this, and I'm not going to, The guy sitting next to you to your left. Like I would be like,
hands off,
Jay Wright, please
Stay away.
come back to
You
college
promised
basketball.
you would never leave me.
No,
You
wait,
promised.
forget what he is saying.
The floor is yours, Jay.
No, wait, I'll give you yours. Can I ask him the question?
Oh, okay.
Because to me, I never call him Jay, I call him Coach. What college basketball needs is mentors. They need people who are going to take guys do it. Coach, even if this is not it, there is a place for you still in college basketball in my space.
Well, I appreciate that, Kenny. And I am so happy doing this. I'll tell you this right now. I love doing this. I like being Kenny's coach, even though I'm not Chuck's coach yet. I haven't earned that yet. But I love being Kenny's coach. And I say this, Chuck, to your point about John running his course, what John Calipari has done at Kentucky, it's not just the recruiting, the Final Fours. It's getting guys to the NBA, taking care of their families. It's their Big Blue Midnight Madness, having Drake come in, having the top recruits in the country every single year. That program is known worldwide, and it always was, but he took it into this new generation and did an incredible job. The guy that replaces him is going to be in a really difficult position to cover all the areas of college basketball. He's a college basketball genius. What he did in recruiting and bringing in all those pros and all those guys that come back to Kentucky makes that program as strong as ever. Whoever comes in there is going into a super strong program.
We appreciate
That's a firm no, though? Was that a firm no?
Yeah.
Of the media.
Yes.
All right, well, we'll see. And one more. Seth Davis says Kentucky needs to call Billy Donovan and make him say no.
Look, the first call is to Billy Donovan. You have to make that call. I sincerely doubt he is happy not being in college. The reasons why he left have only gotten worse. Plus, he's going to be coaching at least another few weeks. So how long can you wait when all this transfer portal action is going on? In terms of the college game, you take some big swings. I think you talk to somebody like Mark Few, for example. Dan Hurley's got a game tonight. UConn is going to have to back up the Brinks truck to keep him. So you got to make those calls. I think the realistic combination between somebody who might be interested in the job and someone whose buyout you can afford is Scott Drew at Baylor. His buyout is only about $4 million. Nate Oates is a great basketball coach. His buyout is $18 million. Even for Kentucky, that's real money. I would predict it's going to be Scott Drew, but you got to kick the tires on some of these other candidates.
Seth, most of what you said is correct. However, you failed to remember, you forgot that John Calipari gave up 20-something million, close to $30 million. Kentucky's got plenty of money. They don't have to pay that to, this was not a buy. They didn't have to buy. This wasn't a buyout. He left. He left, and he's going to make a little bit less money at Arkansas, he being John Calipari. So I don't think Seth, who's usually very good but doesn't grasp the entire situation. Kentucky has a crap load of money. It'll net them like $13 million if they go after Nate Oates, who just signed a big extension with Alabama himself. But I think eventually he's going to be the guy. I do think he's going to end up being the guy. The guy who just took Alabama to the Final Four, and it would not cost Kentucky that much money. $13 million, net $13 million. They'd be fine with that. They'd be fine with that, Angel.
They would be.
I'm not. I'm not where I'm surprised Seth maybe just didn't understand the financial part of it. Anyway, your thoughts as well. Text 727-858-6650. Check out all the video platforms. We'll get to it. Let's see. Sorry. I'm looking at my phone. I get certain texts on my phone as well. I love the new Riptide Media Network logo. I want everybody to comment on it if you like it. We have others that are possible. I like this one. I like this one. I don't think the blue is too distractive at all. I like the Riptide Media Network. I like the tide. I like the color. I like the spotlight. Sweet. And do you design this?
Yeah.
You tweaked it?
Yes.
You tweaked it?
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah. So that's another thing that you do. What don't you do? Were you good at color, like art and stuff in school? Because I didn't. I once failed art in junior high. I couldn't take it. I didn't draw well. I mean, I was musically inclined. I loved music. I got A+ in music appreciation. But art, I didn't. Arts, I had no desire to go. It's the only classes I used to cut. In junior high.
I wouldn't mind. I wasn't the best. Honestly, it took years after school, meaning like way after freaking I was done with school in order to get better. But I would be like everybody else. I put my hand on the paper and do the whole turkey thing and do it that way to, take it home. And
that was my go-to. That's all I could do. I could draw a cube. That took a long time to learn that. And I mean, I'm the kind of guy that can't draw stick people. I'm awful. I'm awful. My sister was excellent. My sister Andrea, that's another Andrea. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to Andrea Hurley in a second. But yeah, my sister used to be great at color by number. You'd never know what's color. She had an easel and a thing, and she was like Bob Ross before Bob Ross, way back in the day. By the way, as far as Andrea goes, meaning Andrea Hurley, I don't know. I don't have the cut for it. She was brought up in the press conference after the game when they did talk to him, Dan, about, possibly going on to coach Kentucky. And I believe, and I'm paraphrasing here, his quote was, "My wife, Andrea, loves it here," which meaning stores.
Yeah.
I told you yesterday, she will decide if he is going to move on, unless it's some over the top. If Kentucky offers you double the money that you're making, that's a tough offer to pass up. Not that UConn won't, try to back up the Briggs truck, as Seth Davis said. But I mean, Kentucky is the premier college basketball coaching job in the country. Plain and simple, bar none. It just is.
Yep, it is.
John Calipari won 78% of his games. 78% of his games, Angel. Yes, I know they struggled in the NCAA tournament the last few years. I get that. But that doesn't take away what a great coach and recruiter he is. I think it's a win-win. It's going to be a win-win situation. I think he's going to do a great job at Arkansas. As an Arkansas alum, I was thinking about this on the way in. Who's a very famous Arkansas alum that cannot help himself, Angel, who's always in the spotlight? Always. Even when they're not playing football. Always in the spotlight.
Oh, yeah, you got me on that one.
Oh, no, I don't. Think about it real quick. He's always in the spotlight. Can't help himself. Says a lot of interesting things. Sometimes he makes no sense at all. He's an owner of a football team, a very popular football team.
That's Jerry Jones.
Yeah, Jerry Jones. Do you know how much money Arkansas, and you got, not only got Jerry Jones, think about, you got Walmart people.
Yeah.
That are going to, that play. If anybody thinks, it's Hillbilly City in Fayetteville, Arkansas, you're crazy. I'm telling you, there's a lot of money that's going to be passed around over there. John Calipari is going to be just fine. Thank you very much. And that team, I'm not saying they're going to get back to the championship with the late, great Nolan Richardson back in the day, who had some of the best rants of all time. It was a 40-minute, and then, remember 40 minutes of hell. Mm-hmm. That's what he used to call the defense, 40 minutes of hell back in the day. But he's going to have no problem at all. People think they're in Arkansas. Oh, well, you're not in a heavy baloney. You are going to have more than your share of nil money and boosters. He'll be just fine. I do want to tell everybody all this great audio they have is courtesy of Total Sports Prep. So it's awesome. For the best articles and audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. Staff combs through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. Got a couple of those coming up later on in the show. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, you can contact them. info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. So great stuff from them as well. Text us 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. You can even call the show if you'd like at 781-418-0142. 781-418-0142. That is the number. Speaking of number, Angel, see how I did that? Some inside the numbers for both the men and the women. We'll start with the men. So that was the most recent game. As I said earlier, 6th national title for UConn. First back-to-back. They're 12 straight double-digit wins. Hang on, let me find. I tweeted this out earlier. This is, when you think about it, it's really sick. UConn's margin of victory last 12 tournament games: Purdue 15, Alabama 14, Illinois plus 25, San Diego State. I saw that firsthand last year, although I left when they were up by 20 late. It took me 2 hours to get an Uber to come out of that stadium in Houston last year. San Diego State plus 30, Northwestern plus 17, Stetson, the Hatters, their first time in the tournament this year, 30 plus 39. Go back to last year. Actually, last year was when they beat San Diego State by 17. This year was San Diego State by 30. Last year, San Diego State by 17. Miami plus 13. That was the two games I saw last year in Houston. Gonzaga plus 28. Arkansas plus 23. St. Mary's plus 15. And Iona plus 24. So the two closest teams that lost by less than 15 points is only two in their last 12. That was Alabama this year in the Final Four. They lost by 14. And Miami last year in the Final Four lost by 13. I mean, crazy stuff. St. Mary's came in third in that, plus 15. So they got to be, maybe they should have a playing tournament next year for those three teams.
Could be.
Let's do a round robin. See what happens. So more inside the numbers. Huskies, the first team to repeat, as you know, since 06-07. Billy Donovan's Florida Gators did it. And UConn now tied with North Carolina for third most national titles, behind only Kentucky, which has 8, and UCLA, which has 11. Purdue was ranked nationally, coming into the game, ranked nationally second in three-point shooting percentage at 40.6%. They averaged 8.3 makes per game from beyond the arc on 20.6 attempts. Last night, didn't do well at all from the three-point line. They were limited. Great defense by the Huskies. UConn, Donovan Clingan did a great job inside to defend Zach Edey. And I thought he did a good job, and Edey still went off for 37 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Some other stuff. Let's see. UConn became the second school to win back-to-back titles games by at least 15 points. In all 12 NCAA tournament games dating back to last year, as I said, the Huskies won every game by double digits. Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ooh, what's that thing? Was that something new? I always see. I love when the bells and whistles. You've got bells and whistles that go off all the time. Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer each took some big strides as sophomores at Purdue this year. There's no getting around that. All three were good. The trio combined, though, to make 6 of 20 shots from the floor, and Lawyer was held scoreless for the first time in his career. That is amazing. Smith's 12 points made him Purdue's second leading scorer behind Edey, again, who had 37. He went 0 for 5 in the second half in total. So players other than Edey were just 9 of 29. So great defense again by the Boilermakers. And congratulations to the UConn Huskies out of the Big East, winning at 75 to 60 over the Purdue Boilermakers. Now, you might be saying, well, Pete, you have to say it. You just have to say, who's favored next year already in Vegas?
Well, Pete, who's already the favorite for next year?
Hey, Angel, funny you should ask. Funny you should ask that question. They are favored. UConn is a favorite to win the national championship next year. At a couple of places, including Caesars. They opened up a plus 900, 10-1 odds. DraftKings has them at 10-1 and FanDuel 11-1. They have Duke favored also to take home the top prize next year. Huskies coming in second at 14-1 and 6 to 18-1. I mean, it's, to win, we're talking John Wooden stuff if we're going 3 in a row, back in late 60s, early 70s with the UCLA. Let's see. The long odds at the top speak to the difficulty of winning the tournament, as we all know, nil money and all that stuff. There's a high degree of variance across the market. Houston is 10-1. Alabama's 13-1. Arizona 15-1. North Carolina 15-1. And Kentucky is 18-1. They're the consensus top 10 teams on the odds board. Care to guess what North Carolina State is? They made the Final Four this year. They had to win the tournament 5 games in 5 days, including being tied with Louisville late and have to hang a 40-foot prayer against Virginia. But then they made an incredible run all the way to the Final Four before losing to Alabama. What do you think NC State's odds are to win the whole thing next year?
Men, women?
Men. It's between 1 and 100. It's between 1 and 100.
All right, let's do 51 odds.
A little higher.
60?
Higher.
Well, his favorite part of the show here. 65.
Yeah. Higher.
70.
Higher.
75.
Higher.
80.
Yes, NC State, 80-1 odds, actually representing the shortest across a major sports book as well. Meanwhile, Angel, looking at the women's game and the ratings, these are absolutely unbelievable numbers. 18.7 million on average on ABC and ESPN. That game aired at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. The only sporting events in the United States to draw a bigger TV audience since 2019 have been football, the World Cup, and the Olympics. The audience numbers also expected to increase when Nielsen releases its final numbers. The audience peaked. It averaged at 18.7, Angel. It peaked at 24 million. 24 million. I thought it would get between 16 and 17, surpassed my expectations at 18.7 mil, 24 million at peak time. It's the most watched basketball game since 2019 when the men's NCAA title game between Virginia and Texas Tech averaged 19.6 million viewers on CBS. Wow.
Good numbers. Really good numbers.
Yep, we don't know what the men's numbers are going to be on TBS and TNT. I would imagine they're going to be lower. They won't. I don't think they'll come close to 24 million. I really don't. And a lot of times because the TBS and TNT being on cable, technically cable, even though I don't look at it that way, but a lot of people do. Some people just still don't have it.
Nope.
And you look like at certain platforms like Fubo who don't offer the Turner Broadcasting Network of TBS, TNT, True TV. And what am I missing? TBS, True TV, TNT. And TBS, True TV, TNT. What am I missing? What's the other one? But they have forced True TV, TBS, TNT, True TV.
But I'm wondering if it is it.
Oh, what's the fourth one? What's the other one they show the stuff on? Anyway, all those platforms. It doesn't really matter. I think that'll hurt the audience as far as trying to get to 24 million peaking. The 2015 game, Final Four game between Wisconsin and Kentucky on TBS is the only college basketball game on cable to draw over 18.7 million. That game averaged 22.63 million. And the 2022 men's final, which matched Kansas and North Carolina on TBS, averaged 18.1 million. So Caitlin Clark and Iowa have the top audiences for women's basketball. The Hawkeyes over UConn Friday averaged 14.2. And their April 1st victory over LSU in the Elite Eight drew 12.3 million. So unbelievable. I mean, it's just amazing numbers. What do you think? And so it wasn't too long. It's not a trick question. The last NBA game to draw at least 18 million was Game 6 of the 2019 finals between Toronto and Golden State. That was 18.34 million. And that was the double boink doink, and Toronto won it, if I remember, in Game 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't really want to think about that one, but thanks for reminding me.
Oh, why? What happened?
Wasn't that the 2019 Sixers?
That was 2019 at Toronto and Golden State. The Raptors won.
And then you also had the one with Toronto, same thing. Where it hit the rim twice.
Yeah.
And then obviously Toronto ended up winning and eliminating the Sixers.
Oh, that's the game I'm thinking about. The Sixers, not the yes. That was that was heartbreaking.
Yeah. Sure was. It sucked.
So the women's final also had the biggest audience for a Sunday afternoon sporting event on ESPN and ABC since January 10th, 2021, when an NFL playoff game between Baltimore and Tennessee averaged 24.82 million. ESPN and ABC don't have the rights to Sunday afternoon NFL games throughout the season, which routinely draw, as you know, exceeding 25 million on CBS and Fox. But just some absolute amazing numbers for the women. It really is.
It is. And you figure for this year, come next year, I want to see it go any less. I mean, you still have a couple of Juju Watkins is still there next year for USC. So you got a good even with Dawn Staley's team, you got some star athletes that are there. So next year, it'll be to me, it'll be interesting to see how the numbers end up changing. But I think it'll be just fine.
Juju, they say she's going to be better than all of them.
That's right here.
Yeah, it's going to be better. It's going to be better than all. It's a lot of hype to live up, but unfortunately, the Pac-12, USC, and everything else, and It does affect women's basketball as well, so there's not a lot out there. But let's see, what she has going for her. It's a number 2 market in the country, and they're a great basketball team. But yeah, the Johnson girls, I think on South Carolina, I think they're both coming back as well. And I'm wondering, after the WNBA draft, would you want to tune in to an Indiana Fever game to watch Caitlin Clark? I must say, for the first time in my life, I'm intrigued. I'm looking forward to see. I'm not going to tune into every game, but I'm sure that first game is going to be on either NBA TV or some sort of platform on ESPN. That game will be so hyped up, and I hope it's against one of the better teams in the WNBA, which I could not tell you off the top of my head. I have no idea.
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
Before we go to break here, because as we talk about the different ways that you can end up watching the entire show and listening on the show, I'm gonna switch the screen here momentarily, because there's another thing, and this will also be available on the new Riptide Media Network website as well. But if you guys go over to broadscsouth.com, you guys can look on the home screen. If you scroll down some, there is the Pete Sheppard Show that you guys can watch. If you're on the road,
that's me.
Make your comments there. You can also follow Pete, as you guys can see right in the 2 spots there, Facebook and Twitter. And then in the middle there, if I can speak correctly, you guys can hear the replay of the Pete Sheppard Show on Spotify. So you can go do it that way. Then, if you want to download the sports radio app until the new one gets developed, switch over to the live show, go about halfway down, and you guys, I make it easy. All you got to do is just click on either or, depending on which phone that you have. Sometimes I hate to share stuff on the air and out there, because then other people grab the ideas and try to make it their own, but whatever's. But you guys could also see the radio player there. You can see it's a Pete Sheppard Show live. So go on the website, you can hear it that way. So there's many, many different ways that you can listen into the Pete Sheppard Show live. So I just want to share it out before the break.
You are awesome. Unbelievable stuff. And we are going to take a quick break here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Hour number 2 coming up. I will do a whole MLB recap from last night. There were some great cuts. You don't want to miss it. Coming up a little bit later on in the show at 9:30, Michelangelo, great NHL insider, will join me at the bottom of next hour at 9:30. Until then, it's Pete Sheppard here. Angel Martinez, co-host / executive producer extraordinaire. And you will be debuting your show, as soon as with Default. That's coming up. We saw the logo yesterday. It is outstanding. Anytime you want to throw that up there, too. Great logo that you designed. I love it. It feels like it could be a Saturday morning cartoon logo. I freaking love it. You did such a great job. It is the Pete Sheppard Show. We are live from the Naples Wealth Planning Studio on the Riptide Media Network. MLB recap coming up right after this. Red Sox opening day today at Fenway Park. They're going to do a big tribute to Tim Wakefield. Of course, one of the big controversies today was about Kurt Schilling, who declined not to the invitation because of releasing some very sensitive stuff out on Facebook about Tim and Stacy, who have both since passed. But anyway, it's opening day at Fenway today. I'll be watching at 225 because I did sign up for the MLB package. Free 1 week trial. So I wanted to see the Red Sox are off to a great start. And I get to watch every game. And then we'll see. I might play it by ear for the month, which is $29 or $29.99. I did not sign up for the entire year. I refuse. But I want to see the first month, how my boys do. Everybody else for that matter.
MLB?
For MLB, yep. Yeah. I did it through Amazon. Very easy. Because YouTube doesn't have MLB.com and it doesn't have it's one of the few things. It doesn't have any channel network and it doesn't have MLB.com. But anyway, there's plenty of platforms out there where you can go get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome back to Pete Sheppard Show. It's hour number 2. The one and only Angel Martinez is here with me, executive producer extraordinaire. You just saw the Martinez and Defoe. Can you put that up again? Yeah, I love it. Martinez and Defoe unscripted. That is absolutely hysterical. And you with the Iron Man fist there in the logo.
I bet it's both personalities. Defoe been around for 50 plus years, and you know, it's as he said yesterday. He goes, boy, that it doesn't look exactly like me, but I could tell it's the personality.
I think it does.
Yeah, so it's just,
I think it does.
You have to have fun. Why not?
He looks like he's ordering another scotch on the rocks. You know, get over here. Oh, Belvedere, come here, boy.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's Pete Sheppard Show. We're live here from the Naples Wealth Planning Studio. Thanks again to President Brian Bruno and CEO Rick Calhoun for setting this whole thing up. We're on the Riptide Media Network. Let us know how you feel about the new app, the new logo that's up there. The new app and webpage are coming very shortly. I thought they might be up yesterday. I'm hoping they will be up today at some point this afternoon. Well, we talked all we could about UConn beating Purdue 75-60 last night to win the championship again, 6th time in UConn history. Gave you all the sound from that, and as best we could, courtesy of Total Sports Prep. Now let's get to the MLB yesterday, Angel. There was some unbelievable stuff that was going on. How about this? I'm not going to give it away until the end. The Cubs jumped out to a very good lead, a big lead in the top of the second.
Line drive, base hit right field. In to score is Amaya. Here comes Happ to the plate, and he'll dive across. Into second is Bellinger, and it is 4-0. Cody.
Settle down. Not you, Angel. That's Marquee Sports Network. 4-0. The Cubs up to the second, right? It got worse. Dansby Swanson, yikes.
Swanson drives this one. That's well struck right field. Tatis back, and it's off the top of the wall. In to score is Suzuki. Morel coming in behind him. Dansby on his way to third. He thinks that one is gone.
Yeah, he put his arm up as his rounding first base, as if to say that ball's out of here.
So Swanson knocks in 2, and the Cubs have hung another snowman. It is 8-0.
8-0, thanks to Marquee Network. That was in the top of the 4th. And then after that, in the bottom of the 6th inning, here come the Padres.
We'll bring up Jake Cronenworth. High fly ball, deep right field, headed for the Crone zone. Strained it out, hits it out of the yard, and the Padres are on the board. That is the night for Assad after the home run by Cronenworth, his first of 2024.
That made it 8-2 Cubs against the Padres. That was in the bottom of the 6th inning, but later on in the bottom of the 6th inning as well, Xander Bogaerts got into it.
Xander Bogaerts, 0 for 3 night from the top spot in the Padres order. To left, Ian Happ going back, looking up, it's gone! X marks the spot. Xander Bogaerts with a 2-run home run. Padres back within a run.
Well, the Padre bats have come out smoking here in the 6th inning.
That made it 8-7. Very clever. The X marks the spot. You get it?
Yeah.
Sander Bogarts. Yeah. From Aruba, by the way. And then in the ninth inning. No, bottom of the eighth, excuse me. Fernando Tatis.
High drive! Deep left field! At the wall, gone! Padres trailed 8-0. Hernando makes it 9-8. Unbelievable!
How about that? 8-0. He was one of the biggest comebacks in the team's history. Cubs stink. They did yesterday. Terrible. That was my hair. Cubs win. Cubs are now 6-4. San Diego improves to 6-7. Still 3 games behind the Dodgers. We'll get to that. But how about 8-0? Meanwhile, yesterday, let's see. The Mets in Atlanta, they also had a thriller. Here come the Braves early on in the third inning. This is from the Fan, 680.
So with 2 down, it's up to Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna batting .333 to begin the season. And he swings and he drives one deep left center field. He dropped the hammer on that thing. It's a 2-run homer. Ozuna continues to own Tehran, and it's now 4-0 Braves on the 5th homer of the season for Marcell Ozuna.
But then credit 680, the Fan right there. A little bit later on, though, the Mets strike back.
So 2 aboard and a chance for the Mets to get right back in this thing. Nimmo hooks one to deep right field. Forget that. That'll tie the game. Brandon Nimmo into the chop house. A 3-run homer. His first of the year, and the Mets have come from 4 runs down to get even. Brandon Nimmo with a 3-run homer out of sight to tie the game at 4.
Oh, again, thanks to Bally Sports right there. But the Braves were not done. They come back and regain the lead in the... Where the hell is it? They do come back and regain the lead.
Travis in the hole again, 0-2. Travis to right center field, and Marte can't get it. Orlando's on his horse. He's coming home. Atlanta back on top.
Bottom of the 6th that put the Braves on top 5-4, Angel. But guess what? DJ Stewart.
And Stewart hits one in the air to center field. Back goes Harris to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. DJ Stewart's first hit of the year is a go-ahead 2-run homer. The Mets' 3rd home run of the game, and the Mets have their first lead of the game.
There it is, SNY with the call there. How many times this year, Angel, have we heard already somebody gets their first hit and it's a home run? I think I've counted at least 5. At least 5 in the last week. Mets come back from a 4-day win, 8-7. Oh, meanwhile, Cincinnati and Milwaukee. This was another great one. Cincinnati got it going early in the bottom of the 2nd. This is from Bally Sports, Ohio.
Benson gets the start today against a southpaw. He is 1 for 7 against lefties this year. Benson drills it to right. His first left-on-left homer in the show. And it's 2-zip.
Oh, yes. 2-0 there. It got worse for Milwaukee.
There's the bunt, third base. On the backhand. Tough angle throw, gets away. Stevenson breaks from third. He scores. De La Cruz, green light. Throw goes to the plate. Head first slide, he's safe. Whip down to third. Save. Put the ball in play and make him pay. It is 4-0 Reds.
Oh, my goodness. But later on, it got even more worse. Ellie De La Cruz with a solo shot.
Payoff is crushed. Deep center. Off the top of the batter's eye. De La Cruz destruction. And a 9-3 Reds edge. Well, that was 112.3 off the bat. It was set to travel an estimated 450 feet.
9-3 was the score at the time in the bottom of the 5th inning. But the theme of the day yesterday, Angel and others, was the comeback hits. This time, Milwaukee.
Now, Yelich, left field, steer, gone! Christian Yelich goes the other way for a 2-run bomb, and the Brewers are within 1.
Home run number 4 for Yelich, and he goes the other way against a lefty.
That's give credit to Bally Sports in Wisconsin for that call. I made it 9-8, Angel. Could they complete the comeback? Is it possible? But Ellie Dela Cruz says, not on my watch.
Absolute bomb. First pitch, center field. Frelick was deep coming on. He slides, it gets by. De La Cruz can fly. He storms to second. Churio gathers edge of the track. Windmill is on. Relay to the plate. De La Cruz. Save!
Oh, final score again, thanks to Bally Sports. Cincinnati hangs on in a slugfest, beats Milwaukee 10-8. Ellie De La Cruz is he's ridiculous. He is a stud out there in Cincinnati, Angel. And
by the way,
that wasn't a Little League home run either. That wasn't a Little League inside the park. That was a good old school inside the park homer.
Yep. But was that a magical Disney thing at the very end of it where it was like there was some weird or I guess maybe it's just Cincinnati.
It's something that happens. I haven't seen the highlight physically on TV yet, but I'm sure it's something at the ballpark. The your Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals were engaged in a pretty good game as well.
It's gone. Marsh couldn't bring it back for the second game in a row. The Cardinals get a little glove at the outfield wall. The lead cut in half.
You said it, get Turnbull out of the game. Give me anybody else. And Sir Anthony Dominguez greeted with home run number 2 of the season and of the career of Ivan Herrera.
Yeah, Ivan Herrera, bottom of the 7th inning, that made it 2-1. Later on, the Cardinals' Mason Wynn ties the game at 3.
Tonight, so we cash in the walk, but we're down to our last out, and it's Mason Wynn. He did. Ground ball, base hit, game tied. Mason Wynn makes it 3-3.
Thanks to Bally Sports right there. But yesterday, Angel, your Philadelphia Phillies would not be denied.
Ground ball over to third. That's a fair ball down the left field line. Rounding third, heading from his Pache. Harper's speeding to third. He'll stop there. It's an RBI double for Alec Bohm, and the Phillies retake the lead.
Thanks again to NBC Sports Philadelphia. They made it 4-3 Phillies at the top of the 10th. They'd score another, Angel, and you guys hung on to win 5-3. Thrilling game.
That indeed.
Meanwhile,
I'll tell you, one of the better voices in baseball. I absolutely love the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Good call by you. Meanwhile, Colorado and Arizona, pretty good game there too. Let's see, top of the 4th. Newman
hits it hard. That's by a diving Tovar. Here comes Gino. Blazing into third, and he's in there. Newman into second, and he's safe. And it's 2-1 Diamondbacks.
Hello, Newman, but Colorado's Chris Bryant would have none of that.
On the corners, no outs. And the batter is Chris Bryant, who struck out to win the first.
That's left up, and it's hit to deep right. And it'll bring home a run, and it's 4-2. So Chris Bryant on an 0-2 pitch delivers. The rare mistake from Gallen. He went to the curveball, but he got it nowhere near where he wanted to.
Yeah, thanks to MLB TV and Charlie Blackmon. Seal the deal.
Charlie Blackmon has struck out twice, tripled and walked. Charlie swings, drives it to right. McCarthy going back, looking up, gone! Touch him all time. For the first time this year, Charlie Blackmon, 7-4 Rockies. You always want to try to tack on in a ball game if you're leading late in the game.
And go on to win 7-5. Thanks there to KOA 850 AM. Washington and San Francisco. This was one of the few blowouts of the day.
Looking for third. Here comes the throw to third. The tag by Chapman, and he's out. Jung-Hoo Lee charged that ball aggressively, almost like an infielder charging a bunt. And he made a good throw accurately to third, and Chapman put the tag on Vargas.
San Francisco. Here's how they got their lone run.
Little jam shot. This could play. It's a base hit. Lee took off, and now they're going to play it second. And he's shaking. Here comes Lee, and he's going to score.
Didn't matter in the end. Washington was their day yesterday. Lane Thomas goes Big time yard.
Lane Thomas to left, carrying. See you later. And there's the first of the year. And suddenly Lane Thomas is 3 weeks ahead of his home run pace from last year. He had an amazing May through September, and he got all of that. Lane Thomas is back, ladies and gentlemen, and now leads the Nats with 6 runs batted in.
Yeah, but your team is not good. You're 4-6. You have 1-2 in a row, though. You have 1-2 in a row. Meanwhile, in the American League, let's head over there now. The Cleveland Indians and the White Sox went at it.
Tanner Banks just struck out the side. Have yourself a start, young man.
Clever. Jose Ramirez, though, got it going for Cleveland.
Jose Ramirez steps in, 1 out, Quan at first. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and launched. High and deep right field. Home run, Jose Ramirez. Oh, that'll get him cranking. The sellout crowd on its feet as Ramirez makes it 4-0 Cleveland. And a perennial MVP candidate comes through in the home opener. Home run number 100 in this ballpark for Ramirez.
Cleveland would black the White Sox 4-0. The Indians are, the Guardians are 8-2 atop the American League Central.
They're still the Indians.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Guardians nonsense.
I refuse. I absolutely refuse. Toronto and Seattle went at it yesterday as well. J.P. Crawford for the Mariners.
JP leans into this one high, deep, and looking up at Springer. That baby's gone. JP Crawford gets the Mariners on the board with his second home run of the season. Now a 4-1 ball game. Man, that sounded good and looked good. Good for JP, career best 19 last year.
He crushed that breaking ball.
He did, but it wasn't enough. Toronto went on to beat Seattle by a score of 5-2. Jose Barrios, by the way, great job by him. 6 2/3, no runs left for the 4-0 lead. The Houston Astros, they started off slow with the Yankees, and they battled Texas yesterday. Let's get to some of the highlights of this one.
That one hit out into left field. That's trouble. Drops in, base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Carter. He'll score easily. A bloop 2-run single for Jared Walsh. And it is 5-2 Rangers.
Yeah, it was. That was 5-2. And the bottom of the first inning was 5-2. A little bit later on in the top of the second.
Caratini has himself a base hit. That's his first at bat of the season, batting right-handed. Jordan's 27th game played in Globe Life Field. He has 8 home runs so far in this ballpark, including last night's game winner. And he crushes one deep to right field. Jordan admires this one. It is well back of the stands, and the Astros have made it a 1-run game. It is now 5-4 Rangers.
We could have hopped on that flight, been halfway to Kansas City. That was a bomb.
That might cause an eclipse.
It was up in the air long enough. It was a 431-foot bomb.
Theme of the show is comebacks, though. Thanks again to City Home Network. The Astros were not done, courtesy of Kyle Tucker.
Now Kyle Tucker, the batter. He hits it hard through the middle. That's going to score 2. In comes Altuve. In comes Alvarez. The Astros lead this game 7-5. Kyle Tucker, a 2 RBI base hit.
And then Angel Martinez and company, my good friend Victor Caratini, seals the deal.
Caratini sends one high and deep to right field, sending Garcia back. He's at the wall. This ball's gone. Victor Caratini, who hit all 7 of his home runs last year left-handed, has his first as an Astro. It's a lefty home run, and it's a 3-run shot, 10-5 Houston.
That would be the final, Angel. 10-5. That would be the final. 10-5. That was in the 5th inning. In the final, nobody scored after that. But lots of runs, lots and lots of runs in the first 5 innings. The Angels in Tampa Bay went at it. Mike Trout, he went at it too.
Trout has not driven in a man that isn't himself so far in the year. That ball is crushed toward right. After it is Rosario. He won't reach it. It falls in. It bounces toward the wall. Rosario cuts it off, but Rendon heads home. He scores. Trout ends up all the way at third. And Mike Trout gives the Angels a 1-0 lead with a run-scoring triple.
That was in the bottom of the first inning, and Monsieur Trout was not done as we head to the bottom of the third.
There's a long fly ball straight away center field. Siri goes all the way back. He waves goodbye. Mike Trout has home run
405. Well, that baseball was crushed. 108.7 off the bat. 423 distance-wise.
They say off the bat, see all these crazy numbers. I don't care. You know what I care about? That crappy-looking right field at Yankee Stadium that is not even bigger than a Little League field. I don't care how the ball goes off the bat. You could toss me a wiffle ball, and I could hit it out at Yankee Stadium in right field. Some of it. Ridiculous. Anyway, Angels go on to beat Tampa Bay by a score of 7-1. So that's some interleague play action yesterday, too. Marlins finally got on the board the other day, but it was not meant to be yesterday at the stadium for the Marlins.
High drive, left field. De La Cruz back, turning, looking. See ya! A 3-run home run for Volpe. He just keeps doing it. 3-0 Yanks.
Thanks to the Yes Network, but Juan Soto, his first homer yesterday, Angel, at Yankee Stadium.
Soto, high fly ball, down the right field line. Garcia back, on the track, at the wall. See ya! A 3-run home run for Soto. He continues to rake, and it's 6-0 Yankees. It's his first stadium home run. Mm-hmm. So this crowd is falling in love with Soto, and it seems like feeling is mutual. That was after the home run, going out to right field.
Yeah, it's too bad Miami was on a one-game winning streak, but not anymore. They're 1-9, Angel. They're terrible. They stink, and there's going to be some changes there. There's no question about it. No question about it. They are absolutely pathetic. Two teams that have started off pretty well, especially the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Detroit. I almost said Detroit Lions. They went at it yesterday as well. Detroit, Riley Green, top of the ninth.
And it pinballs away from a diving and jumping Sawinski. A hard crash into the corner. The Tigers get a run out of it. It's 7-4 as he banged into the fence.
Yes. And that was the final. Pittsburgh beat Detroit by a score of 7-4. Thanks to Bally Sports Detroit there. Dodgers and Minnesota played yesterday as well. And for the Twins, Manuel Margot got it going.
Martin goes. Margot a drive. Left center field. Back it goes. Gone. Twins take a 2-1 lead on the first home run as a Twin for Manuel Margot.
Rocco must have said something today. Hit him in the leadoff spot. He's 2 for 2. And that's a swing the Twins have been waiting for a while.
That happened in the bottom of the third inning. Minnesota was up thanks to Bally Sports North. But we've had a lot of offense in this segment, Angel. What about this? This should be the number one play on Sports Center this morning for a top 10.
To right center. Buxton over. Dives! Yes, sir!
Got him.
Not in time for the double play. Wow. Welcome back to 5. The smile, the talent on display once again here in downtown Minneapolis.
No chance on this ball. This thing's slicing towards that gap. That's Superman right there. What a play.
Byron Buxton with the play. Of course, at that time, the score was tied at 2-2, Angel, top of the 6th. Later on, in the top of the 7th, the Dodgers take the lead.
Altman sends a towering fly ball to right. Margot's going back onto the track, turns, and watches it go! Skyscraping home run for James Altman. Dodgers take the lead. First home run of the year through the raindrops. Makes it 3-2 in the 7th.
Yeah, that's absolutely thanks to Spectrum Sports Los Angeles. And of course, what would a Dodger highlight package be, Angel, without this man?
Ohtani. Last one in the air to deep left field. Martin's going back. Backpedaling to the wall. It's gone! Shohei Ohtani! He's unsure if it's gone. Now they give him the signal and say, yes, sir, you've added a home run to the 2 doubles. What a game for Shohei Ohtani.
Dodgers improved to 9-4 already, a 3-game lead on the San Diego Padres. But this was comeback city, all of it. So there is your baseball recap, Angel. Some really good stuff there, some good calls. Thanks again. I want to thank everybody at Total Sports Prep. because for the best articles and audio, only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combs through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. The sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, you can contact them at info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. Angel Martinez, we're going to take a quick break and then come back with deep thoughts from me and you. And it is the Pete Sheppard Show as we do it live here from the Naples Wealth Planning Studio on the Riptide Media Network. Text us at 727-858-650. You want to call 781-418-0142. Here comes my half Italian friend. People don't know that. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Their last hit, I think. Awesome tune. Be back in a few. Pete Sheppard Show here on Riptide Media Network.
What an amazing run. It is a UConn coronation. The Huskies make history. Back-to-back national champions. Number one lives up to the billing. They defeat Purdue 75-60. They've done it again.
That's another topic. 100 gram in my pocket off Rick.
I'd like to congratulate Coach and thank him for all the time he spent here in the main interview room all week. Not a lot of mobility on Zagoria.
Whoa! Almost hit the trophy, man.
Yeah, Dan Hurley throwing frisbees at the end to the media at the press table. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks to CBS and the NCAA for that stuff, and our friends at Total Sports Spread for gathering it. So there it is. UConn over Purdue, 75-60. Probably a lot of people went to bed at halftime. Game started at 9:20. It doesn't bother me, even though I have to get up early in the morning. So I'm used to it. I can't ever remember a time where the national championship didn't start at 9:15 or 9:20. Always has. Monday Night Football for a zillion years was at 9 o'clock as well, not 8 o'clock. So that stuff never bothered me. And I think baseball could probably do justice, or maybe not anymore. But they used to occasionally you'd have World Series game in the day back in the 70s and 80s. You certainly would have playoff games in the day, which you still do now. But back then was only, when I was growing up in the 70s, only 4 teams that made it. The AL East champ, the AL West champ, and same thing with the National League. And it didn't matter what your record was. They rotated. It didn't matter. So if you could win 100 games and win the American League East and win 85 in the American League West, and if it's the year of the West was going to get home field, and that's the way it was. Best of 5 back then. 2-3. I hear more dinging.
Yeah, something's about to come up on the screen there.
Oh, something good?
Well, hopefully, because you'll be able to read this. But and by the way, just to let you guys know, 2 things. One is when you do send us a text, please include your name. Therefore, we can put you in the system. So when you guys continue to send text to us, we know exactly who you are. But you will see a reply here. But George sends, and I don't know if you can see it up there or not, Pete, but he does send us another text back. So if you can read it, if not, I'll read it on my side.
I can't read it. It's even with my, I can't read it.
Well,
but you can. Feel free.
I'll find a way to superimpose it. But he said, I just realized that Seton Hall, winner of the NIT, defeated UConn in December. Odd, considering that UConn's dominance.
No, but it's a Big East game. Look, the last competitive game they really had when Providence jumped out to a 15-2 lead or 17-2 lead when they were at home right before the Big East tournament started. And they ended up losing by 14, but it was a pretty competitive game. Now, the Big East is one of the, arguably it's the best conference in the country. You can say what you want about the SEC and the 9 teams, but when it comes to tough and physical play, even though it's not the old Big East, it's still the most physical conference out there. And I think it prepares. You win, trust me, winning the Big East tournament for a lot of these coaches is almost as big as winning the national title in a lot of ways. It's a huge, huge thing to go into Madison Square Garden and do that. That was Dave Gavitt's dream, and they've lived up. It's lived up to expectations. Every game's a sellout. It's crazy, and it's great. Even with teams in a little bit, in the Midwest, at Creighton and Xavier, but still, it's still one of the best basketball conferences in the country. It prepares you, So, I mean, they lost 3. You say, how did they lose 3? Well, I mean, it's very tough to go undefeated in the regular season. That's what South Carolina did for the women. Is so impressive.
Yeah, the one thing I liked about Dan Hurley, which I thought it was actually incredible, and for those who didn't see the ones that on the interview with Pat McAfee on his show, I think it was at the end of last week on Friday. Mm-hmm. The great part about it is you can see how animated he is on the sideline. Right off the court there. And you can see him screaming, doing whatever. You can't hear it, but you can see it. But then I love when the reporter walks right up to him and said, Dan, so what adjustments do you have to make? And he's just very calm, just says what he has to say. Well, we have to make adjustments. We have to make sure we keep Edie out, slow him down, make sure he gets tired. And then the camera's off. They go back to the game, and then you see the animated Dan Hurley again. But that's because, as he stated, he's all about business when he's on the court, and that's what you have to be. So Dan, not only did he shoot down anything about Arkansas, so did Jay Wright, apparently. Jay Wright said, nope, I'm not coming back to basketball. I'm staying right where I am.
Yeah, in fact, I can play that cut for you because I was right. We played it earlier. It's worth playing again. On the set last night for TBS, Jay Wright confirms he ain't going anywhere except broadcasting.
Well, I will say this, and I'm not going to,
The guy sitting next to you to your left. Like I would be like,
hands off,
Jay Wright, please
Stay away.
come back to
You
college
promised
basketball.
you would never leave me.
No,
You
wait,
promised.
forget what he is saying.
The floor is yours, Jay.
No, wait, I'll give
floor
you.
is yours,
No,
Jay.
can I ask him the question?
Oh, okay.
Because to me, I never call him Jay. I call him Coach. What college basketball needs is mentors. They need people who are going to take guys do it. Coach, even if this is not it, there is a place for you still in college basketball in my space.
Well, I appreciate that, Kenny. And I am so happy doing this. I'll tell you this right now. I love doing this. I like being Kenny's coach, even though I'm not Chuck's coach yet. I haven't earned that. I haven't earned that yet. But I love being Kenny's coach. And I say this, Chuck, to your point about John running his course, what John Calipari has done at Kentucky, it's not just the recruiting, the Final Fours. It's getting guys to the NBA, taking care of their friends. It's their Big Blue Midnight Madness, having Drake come in, having the top recruits in the country every single year. That program is known worldwide, and it always was, but he took it into this new generation and did an incredible job. The guy that replaces him is going to be in a really difficult position to cover all the areas of college basketball. He's a college basketball genius. What he did in recruiting and bringing in all those pros and all those guys that come back to Kentucky makes that program as strong as ever. Whoever comes in there is going into a super strong program.
We appreciate
That's a firm no, though? Was that a firm no?
Yeah.
Of the media.
Yes.
We'll see. But right now, it certainly seems like Jay Wright is happy and being an analyst for college basketball. So it doesn't appear anyway he's going. My favorite to go to Kentucky, I'd say 3-1 is Nate Oates out of Alabama. So
that wouldn't be bad.
John's going to do great. He'll do great at Arkansas. They're going to love him. And the pressure is not anything near what it is at Kentucky. He's going to get a whole lot of money, less than he would have got at Kentucky, but does it really matter? Meanwhile, some more analysis about this whole thing going on with John Calipari and Dan Hurley staying with UConn. So the guys, Jay Billis and company, actually broke it down last night as well.
Done it with a Hall of Fame legendary coach to start it, a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame as a coach that's doing it right now.
Yeah, Jim Calhoun built the program, got there in 1986. He's the OG of UConn basketball. But then Kevin Ollie won in 2014. But what Dan Hurley's doing now is really remarkable. And the game that we saw against Purdue, I mean, UConn won the paint. They won the glass. The UConn guards dominated the Purdue guards. And they made Purdue usually a high assist team into a low assist team. You know, Purdue had 8 assists and 9 turnovers. UConn had 18 assists and 8 turnovers. I mean, it was a dominating performance, especially in the second half. Like, UConn played really well in the first half, but in the second half, they not only wore them down, they knocked them out. I mean, if that were a fight, the referee would have stopped it with about 5 minutes to go.
It does feel like he's been able to galvanize a fan base and all the people that want to buy into the program. He gets everybody on board. It's like he feels like he's part of the team. And he does a great job of saying, come on into our circle. And he treats them just like he treats his players. Especially.
I don't know if you have to galvanize anything in stores. I mean, that's all there. They love UConn basketball, men and women. But yeah. He's done a great job, and like I said, I don't think he's going anywhere because I don't think Andrea wants to go. I don't think his lovely wife Andrea wants to leave the area. That is a big part of a lot of these decisions that coaches and players make sometimes.
Yeah. Plus, you figure again, Dan Hurley's doing it as good as he's making that program. How many guys now? And we'll see that because I'm quite sure the transfer portal will also be busy this NCAA basketball offseason. But how many guys would want to? Because they know they have the opportunity now to be able to go to the big dance. So why not? So I don't, unless Arkansas would have to throw such a humongous package for him and his wife to say no. But I agree with you, Pete. I think he stays right at UConn.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I don't think right now he's going anywhere. I mean, Kentucky. I played the cut earlier. In fact, I'm gonna play it again just because I need to correct Seth Davis again. He says that Kentucky needs to call Billy Donovan.
Look, the first call is to Billy Donovan. You have to make that call. I sincerely doubt he is happy not being in college. The reasons why he left have only gotten worse. Plus, he's going to be coaching at least another few weeks. So how long can you wait when all this transfer portal action is going on? In terms of the college game, you take some big swings. I think you talk to somebody like Mark Few, for example. Dan Hurley's got a game tonight. UConn is going to have to back up the Brinks truck to keep him. So you got to make those calls. I think the realistic combination between somebody who might be interested in the job and someone whose buyout you can afford is Scott Drew at Baylor. His buyout is only about $4 million. Nate Oates is a great basketball coach. His buyout is $18 million. Even for Kentucky, that's real money. I would predict it's going to be Scott Drew, but you got to kick the tires on some of these other candidates.
No, it's still Nate Oates, and the buyout money means nothing to Kentucky because Calipari, if somebody had bought him out, it would have been $30 million. It's not, so it ends up being like a net 13 positive for Kentucky. So that's not really. He didn't understand the numbers, I don't think. But Nate Oates, I think, is going to be the favorite. Although I personally would like to see Billy Donovan come back and coach Kentucky. I think it would be a tremendous, tremendous fit there.
Yeah.
But Scott Drew's good. Yeah, go ahead.
In one of the comments, he said they would have to back up the Brinks truck to keep Dan Hurley there. I don't think they would even have to do that.
Well, I think he's going to get a raise. There's no question about it.
Right.
He's going to get a raise. I don't know if he's going to be demanding, to be the highest paid coach in college basketball. Maybe he does. Like I said, I think his family and his wife liking the area and maybe not wanting to move to Lexington, Kentucky. It's certainly a possibility, but I can't say. I can't Vulcan mind meld into the man's head and say exactly what's going on. I think certainly for now he feels like we're staying put. We're not going anywhere. We're going to stay here. But that can change. Money, it's amazing with very few exceptions. They say money can't buy you love. I don't know. Yeah. Makes a lot of people pretty happy.
Yeah.
But as John Thompson once said in Requiem for a Big East, it's also the reason why a lot of people end up in jail.
So true.
Yeah, it is.
So true.
Speaking of money, a weekly pass, Angel, at Augusta. And I was going to do master stuff. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to try and get one of the local pros around here in Southwest Florida to come on and break down the Masters a little bit. One of my favorite golf tournaments of the year. And even casual fans who don't really follow golf, I think, watch the Masters, at least some of it. It's so pristine. It's so beautiful, surreal. The course is unbelievable. I've never been there, never played it. Know a lot of people that have. But guess what? A weekly pass sells for $17,000, Angel.
Good
you get
Lord.
a tournament badge. They're sold out. You get all-inclusive food and drinks, dozens of TVs, and a merch shop. It's called Masters. It's Map and Flag. Map and Flag.
For
$17,000. Now, I told you yesterday, the drinks and the beer and the sandwiches, pimento cheese sandwiches with ham, I think, or you just get pimento cheese. They're pretty cheap. They're pretty cheap. It's like a couple of bucks. So it's like a couple of bucks.
So
I did want to go ahead.
So can you and I then grab some? How you go? So in Philly, when you go outside Citizens Bank Park, whatever the giveaway is on the inside, if it's a T-shirt, everything else they can't. So can we do some flags and just sell them for $5 outside of Augusta instead of for $17,000?
Now that's impossible. You hooligan. Are you crazy? You can't breathe. You can't take your cell phone on the course. You can't, you have to drop it. You cannot take, the restrictions there are worse than trying to go to the White House to meet the president. I mean, it is ridiculous. The rules and regulations that are there. You can't wear your hat backwards. You have to somewhat be dressed somewhat properly.
Right.
I think your shirt has to be tucked in if it need be. You can't look like a slob. You even breathe or fart the wrong way, you get thrown out. I mean,
which one's the one? Hold on, because what was the one in New York? They did was it 5 years ago? Where that was a free throw.
The U.S. Open, yeah. Well, it's also at the Phoenix Open on the 16th hole there, the 16th or 7th, the par 3, where kids throw beer in a bottle. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But it got a little out of hand last year, just a little out of hand with some of the stuff that was shenanigans that were going on. But the players expect that.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, granted, you would think. But anyways, you're going. I don't think anyone's ever been on a golf course unless you go to one of the public ones and you guys. It's just a kind of a day. But for the most part, I think most people usually put on something pretty decent to go out there, especially for. And I can understand Augusta because they do have high standards. I get it, but it's the product that they're putting out there in the field because you got at least a couple million viewers watching.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, look, they still don't televise. You can watch it online. They still don't televise the whole thing, every hole. It's the only golf tournament that's not covered hole to hole, except for online. Online, you can watch it start to finish online. But you can't for years, they'd only show the back nine. They would never even show the front nine. It's ridiculous. They wouldn't let EA Sports make the game, Tiger Woods Golf, which was very popular back in the day. Only at the very end would they even allow those snot rags at Augusta, those people, even allow EA Sports to even have the golf course on the video game. It's a snotty ass sport. I played it a lot, but there's a lot of people that think they are John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau and Tiger Woods. And, they got 25 handicaps, but on any particular Saturday, they're going to, everything has got to be just so. Otherwise, they get pissed. Golf and tennis are very snotty, snobby sports on the whole. I think they're both getting better. And there's so much competition, especially down here in Southwest Florida, where this area, even Fort Myers down here, this is the number one market for golf every time. It just kills it, the Fort Myers area for ratings for golf. And there's a lot of great public and private courses down here. So you just have to look, it's a quote unquote gentleman's game. You abide by the rules and that's it. Girls can wear sleeveless tops, guys can't. Girls can wear basically whatever they want. Skirts have to be somewhat above the knee, but you see a lot of I call them like golf snow bunnies. You see girls that are out there, ladies that look like they're going to a fashion show in Manhattan that are out there and they can't hit the ball a lick. But down here, there's a lot of, I've golfed with many great lady golfers and they're all way better than me. It's not even close.
Wow.
It's not even close.
I try to make myself behind Tiger Woods, but I think I gave myself the name the Lost in the Woods because I can't play golf to save my life. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but how many times? But when's the last time you really tried, or did you? If you called.
God,
if you went and hit balls for like an hour or took a lesson, that's why I always say people who want to start out in golf, take a lesson. Do not go out there and just put yourself on a course without knowing the rules and the proper etiquette. And I don't care if somebody gets a 20 on the hole, just keep moving. Just keep moving.
Yeah, that's, you bring up a great point because I end up getting a lesson. So a friend of mine had a golf pro. And he was trying to start his business off, which from what I understand, till this day, he ended up becoming very successful. But when I first tried, every ball I would hit would shank to the right. And I mean, if you were standing to the right, I would tell everybody, just get behind me because that ball's going your way. But the golf pro, what he did was, and I found it amazing, and again, because I don't play golf, he made me stand on one leg like a flamingo and basically take a whack at the ball. And I drove the ball straight down the freaking green, and I couldn't believe it. And he just kind of looked at me and goes, "Yeah, that's all you have to do. But now put your other foot down and do the same thing." I'm like, oh, "Okay, how about I would just play one leg and I'll be just fine."
Well, you do the Happy Gilmore where you take run at it and
take a whack at it.
Take a whack at it and see what happens.
That would be fun.
It is the Pete Sheppard Show here until 10 a.m. this morning. As always, we're live from the Naples Wealth Planning Studio on the Riptide Media Network. You can text the show at 727-858-6650. Call in if you'd like at 781-418-0142. That's 781-418-0142. Bottom of next hour, Michelangelo will join me. We'll get updated on all things NHL with just a couple of games last night. Don't forget, you can watch the show on Twitter, on X, at PShep326, also on Facebook, not only mine, but on Broad Street South, Facebook and YouTube pages, Spotify, Rumble, LinkedIn, and also Sports Radio 102.9 on the app. Correct?
Correct.
All right. Great stuff. Angel's done an amazing job as executive. You are executive producer of all Riptide Media Network, and you're also going to be a co-host with Defo coming up. And we're going to put all that stuff together. I'm in the midst of putting all the scheduling together. As soon as our app and our new webpage is up, it's going to be awesome and everything. But we're not making everything. I'm not going to just throw numbers out there in times right now without everybody until the app and the webpage are ready. See the new Riptide Media Network that Angel got or tweaked, and I think it looks outstanding. I hope everybody likes it. I think it's pretty cool. I love the spotlight.
Yeah, makes it fun just to put the spotlight on the network as it should, because of the talent that will be here, that and the fun, and for all intents and purposes to make it professional. Because if you don't make it professional, then they're not gonna look at your product. So therefore, it puts a spotlight, which means that we have to step up our game every time the spotlight's on.
Absolutely. And President Brian Bruno and his partner, CEO Rick Calhoun, have done an amazing job, amazing investors. And they've given me the title of Executive Vice President of the network. But I put together the programming, and I can tell you this, we are going to have so much programming on this. Not all of it live, but a lot of it. We're probably going to be live from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. most of the time coming up. And we have a lot of programming from baseball to horse racing, to gambling, to NASCAR, NHL, baseball. We're going to have something for everybody on this network. And I will lay it all out at some point during the week. Once the app and the webpage are done, it's phenomenal. I've had to turn people away already. I'm not kidding, because I'm not sure. I've had 4 people call me with 4 sets of shows. And I say, I can't do it right now. We have to wait to see what happens here with some of the other shows that have already committed to being on Riptide Media Network. So lots of exciting things happening here in the studio where I am now, here live at the Naples Wealth Planning Studio. You see some of the little trinkets I have behind me. I know it aggravates a lot of New England fans, but that's too bad. I got my University of Miami little helmet up there, my Florida Gulf Coast University pennant as well. But this is my show, is my studio, and I can do whatever I want. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Hey, Caitlin Clark's boyfriend. Did you know? I didn't realize she had a boyfriend.
I didn't either.
Connor McCaffrey sent her a sweet message after the Iowa star point guard and the Hawkeyes came up short against South Carolina in the championship game. Taking to his Instagram story, McCaffrey reposted a photo of Clark exiting the court for the final time in her collegiate career with the caption, quote, "My GOAT." Can I get an aw? Aw. So, by the way, Connor McCaffrey, the name might be familiar to you Iowa fans out there. The former member of the Iowa men's basketball team and son of Iowa head coach Fran McCaffrey included 2 red heart emojis and an emoji of a heart gesture, which became Clark's signature move on the court during her senior season. That's nice.
Yeah, I saw her mom doing it a bunch.
That's nice. Your significant other, soon to be official significant other, rightly so, took you out for a beautiful lunch yesterday in the Tampa area, right on a beautiful, was it a lake you were on, or was that a canal of some sort? But you had manatees coming up to you like you were Aquaman.
Yeah, it was nice. She gave me a nice little surprise, which was really good. And we had a couple of drinks, sandwiches, and we were kind of debating on which one. She had the Philly cheesesteak, which turned out to be absolutely fantastic. And
excellent.
From a Philly guy to make one down here, it's not judging, but it's on the taste, and presentation is no big deal. It's a cheesesteak, so I don't expect a big one, but I end up having the fish sandwich blackened, and there was a good amount that was on there. I must have devoured that thing in less than 2 minutes.
Grouper, halibut, or what kind of fish?
I think it was a halibut, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
nice.
I mean,
nice. So how do you like your cheese sticks? I mean, I'm not overly fussy. I like American cheese. I understand the cheese whiz. It doesn't matter to me. I like to have the cheese mixed in on the steak and make sure it's chopped up properly. And I like to have peppers, some onions in there, not necessarily grilled, but I mean, I do, and I do like ketchup on it. I'm sorry, I do like ketchup on it.
So do I.
And some pickles and everything else. Yeah. So how do you like yours?
I load mine up. Even when I was in Philly. In Philly, of course, you have to do everything quick because if not, you get butted out the line and you have to come back again. But it was always whiz, which is onions. I used, ketchup.
Yeah.
I used to throw peppers up there.
Yep.
Of course, you can also get a cheesesteak hoagie, which they don't do that here, but you do it back in Philly, which you had the lettuce, tomato, if you wanted to, pickles.
Yeah.
I load mine to the gills as much as I possibly can. Debbie yesterday had it with American cheese and with mushrooms. And I'm not a mushroom guy, but I had a taste of her sandwich yesterday. Delicious. They did an absolutely fantastic job.
Oh, that's awesome. You could say the name of the place. Where'd you go?
Upper Deck.
Upper Deck.
Up in Hernando County. We took a trip up to Hernando County, went to the Upper Deck, which is nice because it's off of Shoreline Road. And great place. It was upstairs was packed. To have an upstairs, downstairs, and right on the water there, which goes out to the Gulf of Mexico, which we've had the kayaks on there before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a great time because you can people watch. Obviously, the folks that are upstairs. We had a biker gang, and I'll use the word loosely. They were there, and for some reason, these two guys felt like they had to hug these two girls that came up there. Like, thanks for letting us, have your seats. And so they gave him a hug, and the girls kind of turned around and they walked away like, what was that all about? I don't know. So
Yeah, some bikers get a bad rap, but sometimes the reputation, it could be like that scene in The Bronx Tale where they try to take over the bar, and Chaz Palminteri says, finally, now you just can't leave. Shuts the door, and then that's it, But I found most of the bikers that I've encountered to be, gentlemen and ladies, and I think they get a bad rap. But when that happened, but the girls didn't have to hug them.
No, they didn't have to. But I guess they didn't feel that they were. I mean, they weren't violent by any means. They weren't mean. They had the name of their biker gang on the back of their jacket, but none of them. I mean, they didn't come in with an attitude or anything else. They came in just fine, parked their bikes, came in and walked in, and were just as cordial as everyone else.
That's cool. All right, Angel, it's that time again. Time for another quick break here on the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Riptide Media Network. We are live from the Naples Wealth Planning Studio. Final hour coming up next. Angel Martinez, executive producer extraordinaire, and Mick Colagio, NHL insider, at the bottom of next hour. Back in a few.
This is the age of the thunder and rage. Can you feel the rock around your feet? Take one step closer and lead to another. Pressure the world's worry. I shout out for shelter. I need you for something. The whole world's out. They're all on the street. Love is all you need. Show yourself in your eyes. Sacrifice yourself. Sacrifice, be a part of me. Sacrifice, sacrifice yourself. Sacrifice, sacrifice yourself. Set yourself free. In pictures of living and bloodshot vision, sweet miracles and sweet circumstances. I see the sun down the shoulder, the cool winds that blow down on the big beat, that lifelong romances. You got a gun in your head, you're making self-blessed. Spirit me all through the night. Love is all you need. To yourself, open up your heart, sanctify yourself, sacrifice, be a part of me, sacrifice, sacrifice yourself, sacrifice yourself, set yourself free. Stop the world for apart, our girls sweet, victims of poor circumstances. But you can go back to love, speaking down from above, giving hope and making more chances. Well, I hope and I pray that maybe someday you'll come back down here and show me the way. Show yourself. Open up your heart. Sanctify yourself. Sanctify. Sanctify yourself. Sanctify. Sanctify yourself. Sanctify. Sanctify yourself. Sanctify.
Welcome back. It's hour number 3 on the Pete Sheppard Show here on the fabulous Riptide Media Network. I am Pete Sheppard. Angel Martinez, producer and host extraordinaire, joining me this morning. As well, check out our new Riptide Media Network logo up on all our video platforms. On Twitter X, follow me at pshep326 on my Facebook page and also on the Broad Street South Facebook and YouTube pages. Spotify, not Sanctify, but Spotify, Rumble, LinkedIn, everything else. See, I like to play music that people forget about, and I think that Simple Minds, Sanctify Yourself is one of those songs. I think it's their best song. You know, Don't You Forget About Me is, you know, that's played a gazillion times on the radio. I don't know why that song is not played more. They got a couple of other ones that are very good. Same thing with Ask the Lonely for me for Journey. You know, some of these other radio stations want to play the same songs over and over and over again.
They do.
So,
by the way, did you hear the story about the Chiefs superfan?
Which one? I know what you're talking about. I haven't. What recently has happened?
Well, good thing that we have the clip. We'll play it for you because
okay.
Apparently, this dude is not only did he get 50 years, but apparently he's kept himself in a little bit of hot water here.
A special guest.
And of course, it's going to go to commercial. Hang on.
It all starts with a Chevy truck. Chevy
That's all right.
Silverado
Well,
with a Turbo Max engine.
Listen and cue. Listen and cue.
And Chevy Silverado HD.
I would take that down.
14 available camera views.
until it goes away. I listen to it in queue if you can, and then you can put it back up. Xavier Babudar, the Chiefaholic.
Yep. Give me a second. Let me switch our screens back here because they're playing everything but exactly what you want. So.
Yeah, that's all right.
My goodness.
I survived the eclipse. You survived the eclipse. We'll get to that. All right, we'll get to that. But I know a judge ordered this idiot to pay $10.8 million to Bixby, Oklahoma. Where the hell is that?
Yeah.
He threatened with a gun in December 2022. He's committed a series of bank robberies.
Yep.
Guess the place is Bixby, Oklahoma. That show that Sylvester Stallone does on Paramount is awesome, where he plays a mafia guy that's been relocated to Oklahoma and starts a business out there. I don't even think that's Bixby. You say you got it?
It's still playing that goofy solar eclipse thing, so give me a second. It's right. Everything that, of course, when you wanted to play it, it's
all right.
Play everything else.
That's all right.
It'll come through.
So this 29-year-old dumbass built a large social media following as Chiefsaholic on X and Instagram, cultivating the image of an ambitious, generous young man who enjoyed gambling, Kansas State sports, and most of all, the Chiefs. But an ESPN investigation revealed that much of what he portrayed about himself was not true. He was arrested December 16, 2022 in Bixby after fleeing the Tulsa Teachers Credit Union. That's where Stallone's show takes place, in Tulsa, where he pointed a black CO2 pistol, I don't even know what that is, I know it's a gun, at Garcia and demanded she give him, quote, the 100s, or he put a bullet in her head. It was released on February of last year, and a month later, after receiving $100,000 in winnings from 2 bets on the Chiefs, escaped. He evaded authorities for nearly 4 months before being apprehended July 7th in California. He's currently at Leavenworth Federal Prison in Kansas. You have to be a real badass to be sent there, let me tell you.
Yep.
Frazier and Garcia had to leave their job after the robbery, still dealing with the trauma of the crime. So, amazing.
Just
stupid. And speaking of stupid, I just had this story pop up. Where did it go? It's not it. I hit the wrong button. Now I'm hitting wrong buttons. Okay, hang on a second.
Sure.
Here it is. So people looking at the stupid eclipse yesterday. Dozens of social media users claim looking at 2024 solar eclipse left them with sore eyes. Duh. Really? Even some who wore glasses. Again, duh. Even with the glasses on, they tell you only look for a few seconds. I really don't understand the fascination. Somebody's going to sue God, or somebody's going to sue somebody in NASA, or blame somebody to get some money out of this. Quote, my eyes are now boiling and my neck is suspiciously sore. One ex-user posted from Manitoba, Canada. You idiot. Google searches for eyes are sore trended steeply upward. I would lock all those people up and then ship them off to an island filled with deadly venomous snakes and gigantic creatures that you see in the Godzilla King Kong movies, and let them fend off for your absolute moronic behavior.
Yeah.
I banish you to Pete and Angel Island. Sounds like a nice getaway, doesn't it?
It is.
Except you got to fend off King Kong, Godzilla, Rodan, Ghidorah, Gamera, whatever other monster is out there, and plus deadly snakes.
Yeah. Yeah, that would work. And then they'll figure it out.
You survive after and a place where somehow, some way, it would be an eclipse 24/7 for 5 days. You survive 5 days, you can go back to the States, to civilization. You dumbass people. Dumbass. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. What is going on here? I got this Microsoft thing up. I don't know what I'm... What? Uh-oh. Oh, no. No. You know when something like sticks? Okay.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
happening a lot lately. Yesterday I was working on something after the show, and for everything froze, and it was almost like frozen in time for about 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, this is great. And so yeah, it's been happening a lot lately. I think it's a lot of the upgrades that they're doing. It's driving, not us, meaning out there with Chrome and Microsoft Edge and everybody else. The more updates you do, the more they freeze up.
Yeah, I just hit the wrong button and it just stuck up there. And when you can't find the X to X something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. All right, speaking of the stupid eclipse, Charles Barkley agrees with me. And he says you guys are stupid.
I thought it was maybe the Chuck Blimp that got in the way.
Hey, well, y'all, some of them losers standing outside watching that today.
They're not losers.
Yes, they are.
No,
it
doesn't happen often.
Hey, we've all seen darkness before. Stop it.
No, not in the daylight.
Come on, man.
Come on, Chuckster. Don't hate on the eclipse.
Come on,
listen.
it.
I saw losers standing watching your blimp. How about that? They were outside. Have you seen Chuck's blimp? That's what I've seen.
So you're not a fan. You're not a fan of the.
Well, I'm not gonna sit outside like an idiot and wait on the darkness.
Did you not wait on your blimp?
I could have waited. It's gonna be dark. We go outside.
Can I ask you a second? Did you ask your family to wait on your blimp outside?
I was trying to get my grandson to watch.
See, there it is. So what are you talking about?
Hey, the eclipse gonna happen again. I ain't gonna ever have another blimp.
Boy, that's
a good thing.
This was a very worthwhile segment. Let's go over to the AT&T.
Now, another good segment yesterday, in case you missed it, I think it was at halftime or right before the show, right before the game started, is that Bobby Hurley, who was didn't want to be a distraction, apparently. Yes, Bobby, who played at Duke, remember him, and a great player at Duke, and was up in a luxury box up in the arena in Arizona, and came down to the set, and then this conversation happened.
Talked about that last week, wearing the same underwear and washing them in the hotel. Heard about the M&Ms, and take out the ones of the opposing team, the color of the opposing team. Are all these superstitions a Dan Hurley thing or a Hurley family thing? Are you the same way?
We all have routines, and we talk about our crazy routines that we have. I don't eat on game day. That's mine. I want to make myself suffer and sacrifice before I have to go out and perform.
Are you serious?
Oops, sorry about that. But that's unbelievable. That's not. In fact, I got to load that up again. That was my bad. I'm all of a sudden I'm hitting wrong buttons. It's totally. This is totally on me. Let's see if we can.
For the opposing team, are all these superstitions a Dan Hurley thing or a Hurley family thing? Are you the same way?
We all have routines, and we talk about our crazy routines that we have. I don't eat on game day. That's mine. I want to make myself suffer and sacrifice before I have to go out and perform.
Are you serious?
Yes. No food on game day.
Oh my God!
I fast.
Yeah,
That's my way of sacrifice.
I eat fast on game day, and he eat fast on game day and not on game day.
But no.
I can't imagine. I don't know how Bobby Hurley can do that. How do you do that? How do you not eat the whole day? If you're up at 6:30, your game's at 7:30. Do you really think he goes 12 hours without eating? And can still coach and still function? I mean, come on.
Maybe he does one of those protein bars, and that's enough for him.
No, he says no. He said, that doesn't count. That means he's eating.
I don't know. That's it. I mean, God bless if that's the case, but I would think you would need something, at least in your system, to be able to, not even as much as function and make a good thought. Because everybody knows when you get hangry, not hungry, when you get hangry, that's when you get that hungered, angry type deal because you have nothing in your system. But that's a long time to go because you figure the game didn't start till 9:25 last night.
Yep.
That's a long way to go without anything.
It's insane. It's insane. All right, to text the program 727-858-6650. I'm about to play an unbelievable story here.
By the way, Joey B says, good morning, Pete and Angel. I'm currently eating. So that's good. Joey B's not fasting.
Good, Joey B. That's great. Let me see.
Felicity Cadillac.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Okay. We are here to join Robert and Felicity Cadillac in matrimony. Do you, Felicity Cadillac, take Robert Cadillac to be your husband, your spiritual partner, and love him unconsciously through thick and thin?
I, Felicity Cadillac, take Robert Cadillac to be my husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse. Robert, I promise to be your best friend and love you unconditionally through the good and the bad days.
Okay. Do you, Robert Cadillac, take Felicity Cadillac to be your wife, your spiritual partner, and love her unconsciously through thick and thin?
He says yes.
Okay. Very good. You can kiss man and wife.
Okay.
What was it?
This 25-year-old woman has married, she claims right there, I just saw the video, married a 6-foot-tall Halloween doll, claiming she is now in a polyamorous romance with the toy and her zombie doll wife, and trio is expecting their 11th child. And I could tell the Massachusetts accent from the preacher. Felicity Cadillac from Massachusetts wed inanimate beau, Robert, in a private ceremony at her house after being in a relationship together for 8 years. These people do not represent me or my fellow people from the Commonwealth. And not just the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Good God. The 25-year-old previously tied the knot with a zombie doll named Kelly Rossi, who she claims is 16 years her senior. But Felicity fell head over heels for Robert, allegedly 26, soon after the wedding ceremony. And now the trio is in a relationship. This is the most disgusting, sickest, stupidest thing. And maybe I'm stupid for clicking on it, but it's in one of our kicker stories here. But it's just, don't you have anything better to do? Even with clicks, how are you going to make money off of that? I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Joe Q says, might explain ASU basketball last year. Yo, that's true. That's true. Meaning back to Bobby Hurley not being ready to coach Arizona State. Yeah, it very well might be. Meanwhile, John Rahm, I don't know if you heard this story. John Rahm was hysterical as Terrell Hatton spoke out on a bizarre injury keeping his caddy out of the Masters. So Terrell Hatton's usual caddy won't be at his side at the Masters this weekend. Instead, a friend of the golf will walk the course at Augusta. A freak injury is to blame for that absence, which occurred in the days leading up to golf's biggest event. Hatton recently spoke on the setback while addressing the media. He said on Sunday after his final round at the LIV tournament in Miami, he said, "My caddy fell over last night after dinner. Now, his reputation is an interesting one, so I don't know how the fall really occurred, but he landed pretty heavy on his shoulder, spent the afternoon in the hospital. He had an x-ray. He won't be caddying for the next month, so I've got a friend on the bag. He's actually flying tomorrow to Augusta." Continue to say that the friend will help out in future tournaments following the Masters. As Terrell had explained this, fellow LIV golfer John Rahm was in absolute stitches at the podium, tried to hold back his laughter upon hearing about the caddy's injury, but had a hard time keeping it together. So he must know something that we don't. It must have been bigger than if he fell down. It must have been something, I don't know if he was drunk or whatever.
There's strange folks, as Joey B said, and then Joe Q had said, might explain ASU basketball last year on the comments. But there was also, who was it? Some lady married something too. I think it was a mannequin or something else. And
toaster.
I'm not talking about Charlie and 2.5 Men. That was a funny episode anyways. But there was she married either a mannequin, something like super bizarre. And who just performs such ceremonies? Because if you walk up to me and you tell me, listen, can I get married to this apple? I'm literally going to look at you and be like, are you serious, Clark? I'm like, no.
Meanwhile, this is a Terrell Hatton at LIV Golf. This is what happens when you get frustrated. You hit a shot out of bounds.
I can reach those trees, can't it? Fucking what a wank bounce that was. Fucking bounce to the left is fine. Fuck you. Fucking cunt.
Yeah, someone's a little upset.
And that's come over. I mean, that's about LIV Golf too, which is great. There's mics that are open. It's on the CW a lot and on YouTube, but it's on the CW now. They have a sponsor, so and it's just it's hysterical. And they play music all the time in between holes at the course. It's very funny. It's very ungentlemanly, like it's very un-PGA-ish. But a lot of people like it. All right. Here we are. Live from the Naples Wealth Planning Studio, Riptide Media Network. Text the show 727-858-6650. 727-858-6650. Joe says good morning to Joey.
Yeah,
Joey looks at
exchanging pleasantries.
Yes, absolutely. Like the pleasantries we just heard from Mr. Hatton. I mean, that was that is a great. That just represents everything that I'm about. After my third shot in a row, that goes OB.
I'm going to do a quick update here for those who are watching. And the reason why you guys can see it not only on YouTube and Twitter and over on broadstsouth.com as far as the live feed, and of course on the app on Sports Radio 102.9 The Game, is because we do have a music license. But Facebook being Facebook, and I'm pretty sure because they didn't like the Casey and the Sunshine Band type song, they booted us from the Facebook feed. So if you guys can't see us on Facebook, it's the reason why, because by the time the music license catches up, by then the shows are over. It's happened to me a bunch of times with Martinez and Company. So if you guys can't see us on Facebook, that's the reason why. So make sure that you tune into all the other apps.
See, that happens from time to time, but then it says I've been blocked in Belarus and Russia.
Yeah.
Like those are the only things that are blocked.
Yep.
So let me see the details.
Yeah, they'll tell you that you're blocked, and it's because since it goes worldwide. There's places that they don't like. It's like, Elvis back in the day, you couldn't shake your legs and go crazy when people go, absolutely insane about
your hips. Yeah,
that's the reason why.
Yeah, well, so I'm wondering if is it really blocked, because then it will say it's only blocked in a couple of countries.
No, it's blocked because I checked and they basically blocked it.
That is outrageous. I mean, that is crazy. But you can still see on my Twitter feed. I know that because I've got almost a bunch of viewers. Joe says, that's me after every Quill's pick winner race. Okay. All right. The phone number to text, 727-858-6650. Meanwhile, Mick Colodge are going to join me in about 10 minutes at the bottom of the hour here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the awesome Riptide Media Network. How's everybody like the logo? You guys were checking in. Love the logo. So, again, you can listen to us not only on X, Twitter, and my Facebook page at PShep326, Broad Street South's Facebook and YouTube pages, Spotify, Rumble, LinkedIn, and there'll probably be more before it's all said and done. Quick recap again of the game last night. UConn and Purdue. UConn 75, Purdue 60. But this was one of the highlights of the game for the Purdue Boilermakers. It happened in the second half, and a massive putback by Camden Heide.
That it should have been offensive. Lawyer, feed it. Edie missed it. Major highlight from Heide. Camden Heide living up to his last name. Looks like Heide for the jam.
It's like 30 years ago. G. Hill registered big time.
Oh, yeah. And Zach Edey had a nice alley-oop dunk over Donovan Clingan.
Good defender, can make threes. McGillis a good passer and pick and pop. Smith upstairs. Jungle jam. Zach Edey.
Great set out of that timeout, getting Smith downhill. Clingan coming over to try to help. And the great 1-2 combination there. Smith.
But later on, again, thanks to TBS, later on, though, the Clingan, his floater seals the deal.
It amazes me with UConn. They can run when they have to, and they run their sets quickly and sharply and eat up a lot of clock while doing it. Screen, Clingan. Caravan takes the baseline. Clingan, yes, and how about Caravan?
Again, 75-60 is the final. I went 1-2 in the picks I gave out yesterday. Gave you UConn in the over. Obviously, came up about 10 points short, 10 or 11 points short on the over. Certainly had UConn minus the 6.5. And I had the Angels and Tampa Bay over 8.5. They got to 8, 7-1. They got to 8, 7-1. Tough night, but not crazy. Not a crazy super night loss. That's why you stay even keeled and you come back strong, which we will.
Definitely will. Joey B, by the way, says logo looking sharp. Pete and Angel keep grinding. Appreciate it, Joey B.
Appreciate that. Former Texas defensive lineman a couple of days ago, Tavondre Sweat is the Big 12 2023 Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, an Outland Trophy winner. He was booked into jail after an arrest driving intoxicated. 22 at Travis County Jail. According to online records, after being arrested by Austin police, he faces a Class B misdemeanor, which in Texas carries a fine of up to $2,000 and 180 days in jail. Stupid. 6'4", 362 pounds. He declared for the NFL draft after helping Texas to its first CF college football playoff appearance. Had a couple of sacks, 8 tackles for the loss, 7 quarterback hurries, 4 pass breakups, 45 total tackles last year. Winning the Outland Trophy. He rates in Mel Kiper's number 3 defensive tackle prospect for next month's draft behind Byron Murphy of Texas and Florida State's Braden Fisk, who I would rate first. He's awesome. That guy is awesome. Braden Fisk. Anybody who gets him, going to be outstanding. All right, Angel, time for another quick break here. When we come back, we'll see if we can connect with Mick Colodge. You're going to join me video style. Media Network. You can call the show at 781-418-0142. Text the show 727-858-6650. And I see the man, the myth and legend, the one and only Mick Colodge. Let him put his headset on if he's ready to go.
Headset, hold on.
My goodness.
You are now in my ear, Pete. This has happened before in our careers.
Yes, it has. Not for a while. There used to be a big piece of glass separating us as I was DJing and you were doing news, but a lot of times we did a lot of high school hockey and basketball together back in the day. Mick Colodge joining me, one of the best hockey writers in the country. You see him on BostonHockeyNow.com, the Hockey News Podcast, RinkRapMC.com, and now here he is. I know you got places to go. I know you're going to downtown in Boston Tell me about, before we get into it, what's this? You are giving out an award?
Well, Joe Haggerty, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, clear as a bell.
Okay, great. Joe Haggerty, our president of our local chapter of the Professional Hockey Writers Association, is unable to attend tonight. And tonight is the night that they're going to have season-ending awards that they do annually, and one of them is given out by the writers, which is the Elizabeth C. Dufresne Trophy, which goes to the best Boston Bruin in home games as voted by the media. So I am stepping in to put on a tie and go out there on the ice and do this. And thankfully there will be a rug there because dress shoes and ice are not quite as sure as skate blades.
Wow, so you had to make the presentation on the ice before the Bruins take on the Hurricanes tonight, and after they beat them pretty badly last week, but we'll get to that in a second. Well, that's quite the honor. I got to make sure. Is Nessa going to carry that live?
I believe so. I don't know 100%, but I think so. I anticipate that that's going to be a Nesson thing.
Wow.
That they will do this because they typically do, and they also have inherited the 7th Player Award from TV 38, which I don't believe is being presented tonight. I believe that'll probably be a week from now at the final home game, but I'm not sure about that one either. But they only have a couple of home games left. They got 4 to go, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty here.
Wow. So how long is this ceremony going to last? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes? You have to do a long speech, and
I don't think I have a speaking role. I think that my job is basically to handle the trophy long enough to present it to the player who will win it and or has won it. And pretty easy if you look at the stats. And so these guys always look a lot bigger on skates than they do in the room, and they already look big in the room. So this will be fine. I'll feel small. So.
Speaking of looking big in the room, that is a cool miniature Jumbotron you have in the back, old school Boston Garden right there. Where'd you steal that? Who made that for you?
My older brother, the Reverend Don Collagio.
Oh, yes. Reverend Don.
Yes. Don first made the one on the edge of the screen there, which is the 1967 Boston Garden scoreboard that lasted through the end of the era when they closed the Garden in 95. The one behind me that looks more like the old Chicago Stadium Boulevard clock, that one there is actually a Boston Garden. That's the scoreboard that preceded the Day Industries one at Boston Garden. So it looked just like the Chicago Stadium scoreboard with, I'm sure, tiny little tweaks. But that one. So Don, I don't know where he finds the time because the guy's always going. But he made these with fiberglass in his tool shop and, plexiglass, hockey glass, little metal parts. He just is incredible. And so, my life is enriched by my older brother for sure.
That is fantastic. Now, I don't think we've spoken since the big brawl with the Rangers and Devils the other day. I don't think we've spoken since that happened.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But that was... Did it bother you? Not so much, old school, ready to go. And, of course, we knew it's from, the March 11th incident that they had with being company and all them. But does it bother you as a hockey purist when it's preconceived like that, or were you okay with it?
I was okay with it when I saw that everybody fought.
Yeah.
Because...
Except the goalies.
Okay. Yeah. I know. Probably Travis Green and Peter Laviolette were closer to going at it. Than they were having a little shouting match behind the benches. But I think basically what happened here was the Devils acquired Curtis McDermott from Colorado with that presence in mind. So, guys like he and Reeves, they celebrate guys like Matt Rempe coming into the NHL because it sustains their relevance. So they still have a job. So, but I think the cool thing is that former Bruin Curtis Lazar was entangled with Jimmy Vesey, and to start it. And they're the only two guys who are in the penalty box. Everybody else was kicked out because it's automatic DQ if you have a second fight, during a fight. So it's all about game management for the NHL. That's why these rules are put in.
Yep.
But I like the fact that the Devils did that. I felt like that really kind of helped them because the Rangers wound up losing Trouba and Keandre Miller. So that's a top 4 defense pairing for them.
But they came back and won the game in the third period, 5-4. That was just amazing.
They're a good. They're a good team.
Yep.
They're a good team. They're going to be a tough out. There's been a lot of ebbs and flows to this season. It's almost over finally, and the Rangers have been fairly consistent. So kudos to them.
Coached by your cousin, Peter Laviolette. Your cousin-in-law, but nevertheless, your cousin. And, again, I expect inside information with the Rangers. I expect them to take a dive in their playoff series. I don't want them to win. Not because of Peter, because we love Peter. It's not because of him. It's because it's the Rangers. See, there's something about the Rangers winning that bothers me, always has. The Islanders I could take back in the day. I didn't mind them. I like Trottier and Bossy and Al Arbour. I didn't mind them at all. Plus, I hated Edmonton, and they were the only team that could beat them. So besides the Bruins back in the day, at one point went 10-0-1 against Mr. Gretzky, thanks to Steve Casper and company. But we digress.
Very good. Steve, nice to hear Steve Casper's name mentioned in a positive light.
I was telling the audience what had happened. I said, last time I remember that happening for a Bruins game, besides a couple of bench clearing brawls that happened with Chris Nyland and company, and then the one that happened back with Dale Hunter and Bobby coming off the bench to assist. What's his name? But anyway, remember, it was either 80 or 81 against the North Stars, right? Bobby Smith, Dino Ciccarelli and company.
I have a great story about that one.
Bruins dropped the gloves with the North Stars at the opening faceoff. I had never seen it. I was 12 or 13 years old. Holy crap. And then all hell, but there were more penalties in that game than there actually were in the Ranger Devil game the other night. But tell me your story.
Well, I asked I asked Steve Casper about this not too many years ago when he was up scouting on the 9th floor at TD Garden. And he said the thing that really got to him was he says he doesn't even know why they fought. He says, we're off the face-off. We start shoving. He says, next thing you know, we're fighting. He says, the thing that shocked me was we're in the middle of our fight. Finally, we both look up and we see that everybody else is fighting. We had no idea anybody else was fighting. So, but anyway, I got my own personal story about that. That's hilarious.
I want to hear it.
All right. Once upon a time.
Do you need music?
Maybe the wedding march, but I was a newlywed in February of '81, and Debbie's grandmother, Grandma Dutton, lived right across town in Sharon. Mass. She loved the Celtics. Every night we'd go over there. She'd bring out the 3 Ps. Popcorn, Pepsi, and party grams. And we'd sit there and watch the Celtics with her.
Yeah.
Well, on this night, I knew the North Stars were coming, and I knew this was going to be a big game. And I said, Grandma Dutton, is it okay if we watch the Bruins tonight? Oh, I don't like that hockey. All they do is fight. I said, oh, no, Grandma Dutton. The game has changed now. It's not like it was in the 1970s, 10 years ago, with Teddy Green and all that. That's not the way it is anymore. Nowadays, the North Stars are a fast team. They play good hockey. This will really be an exciting game. This is going to be a big one. Well, that happens.
All hell broke loose. Yeah.
I don't think the game lasted 8 minutes, and then there were more fights, and we finally went to the Celtics game, and that was the end of that. So I walked right into a haymaker there.
There were more penalty minutes in that game than there were in the Rangers Devil game the other night. There were more penalty minutes in that.
Oh, it just never stopped. Ray Bourque had one.
Yeah,
he had a doozy with Al McAdam. Yeah,
one of the few times you ever saw him fight.
Well, he had a few early in his career. Yeah. Bourque wasn't a great defender in fighting, but he could throw them. So his fights were really, rock'em sock'em robots. And fortunately, he made his bones, and everybody knew, okay, if you're gonna pick on Ray Bourque, you're gonna get a punch in the mouth. And from that point forward, his career was pretty sedate.
Just a great guy. In fact, his picture, you can see his autographed picture is behind me, up behind my Bruins banner.
Awesome.
That's him. That's him, an autographed picture.
Raymond.
The things about Ray, too, people forget. I mean, he could not speak a lick of English when he got here as an 18-year-old. Not one word, except for maybe yes or no. Right? I mean, he was amazing. Great guy. All right. Let's get into, because I know you gotta head out. You got to like quarter. You got like 6 more minutes, right? So let's see where we are. A lot of big games tonight coming up in the NHL. The Bruins at home against Carolina. You got to figure Carolina had to be livid to get shut out at home by the Bruins the other day. I mean, that was something else. The Lightning are a big favorite tonight, one of the biggest favorites I've seen all year, at minus 345 at home against Columbus. Rangers and Islanders. The Panthers, who have been kind of like that for the last really 10 days. It's been a weird game. The Flyers have come way back down to earth. They're in Montreal, and the Maple Leafs. So where are we at here? What do you it's still anybody's. You make the tournament, and who the hell knows what could happen? But it's an intriguing bunch of matchups tonight, Mick. And besides the Bruins, Carolina, what other games do you like?
Well, you'd think that the Columbus-Tampa game would be the least of interest, but the last time the Lightning had this much of the odds in a match against the Columbus Blue Jackets was probably their opening around 2019 series that Columbus swept after Tampa put up a historically good record. Only the Bruins last season erased the memory league-wide of Tampa's outstanding 18-19 record. And somehow the wheels came off against the Blue Jackets in that series, as John Cooper called it, a 5-alarm fire. But in any case, I'll tell you, this reminds me tonight of the opening round of the playoffs. You feel like you could have 8 sets of eyes and watch every one of these games, because there's just so much on the line here. I mean, looking at the Capitals in Detroit, that's a game that's going to go the Rangers and the Islanders. That's always a good game, period. Well, now it has ramifications for the Islanders. The Caps and Detroit are both on the bubble. They're both right there. There's just a lot happening here. I think most of this is already decided. It's just in the East. It hasn't quite panned itself out yet. Pittsburgh and the Capitals are hanging on. I don't think the Flyers have enough. I know they like the Penguins only have 4 games left, and they're only 1 point behind Pittsburgh. But if you look at the 2 teams that are in the wild card, they have 5 games left, and Tampa's not going anywhere. Tampa's not catching Toronto. Toronto's win last night really kind of puts a crimp on that. So any questions about Tampa escaping the wild card? It's definitely shaping up right now as Bruins Tampa round 1.
That's what it would be today. That's what it would be today. It'd be Bruins, Tampa, round 1. Panthers, Maple Leafs, Rangers, Red Wings, Hurricanes, Islanders in the East.
These series, the first of these are almost a lock. I mean, because the Bruins can't catch the Rangers at this point with 4 games left, down, 3 points?
3 points, yeah.
Okay. They're not going to catch them. They're not going to fall down. The Panthers are not going to go up. They're 5 points behind the Bruins with 4 games left. They're not going to get. They have the Leafs could conceivably catch Florida, but all that's going to do is reverse home ice. So nothing's going to change there. That's almost it's all but the math is in place there. It's the real trickery with the East is going to be who's going to be the second wild card and play against the Rangers. Is going to be Detroit, Pittsburgh, or Washington. That's what I'm looking at here.
I hope it's Detroit. I want as many original 6 teams, and it'd be nice to see the Red Wings get back into it. Don't you think? From an old school hockey purist, I like when the original 6 teams get in.
I feel that way until Yzerman's in, and once he's in, he's dangerous. So, hey, you said you want the Rangers to lose, so maybe you want Detroit.
Yeah,
because I don't think Pittsburgh or Washington are a threat, but I do think Detroit's a funny team and a little scary. I know the Boston's had a heck of a time with them this year. So I mean, and obviously, a similar situation out west, except it's more decided. The Blues aren't going to catch them. Wild are out of it. I don't think anything's happening there. The Blues only have 4 games left and 5 points behind Vegas, even though Vegas lost. That's not going anywhere. The only question in the West is who's playing who. So
right now it'd be Dallas and Vegas, as you said. It'd be the Avalanche and the Jets, the Canucks and the Predators, and the Oilers and the Kings.
Right. The Dallas could wind up with the Preds because Vegas has 5 games left. Preds have 4, and it's only a 2-point gap. So that could although Nashville holds the first tiebreak in regulation wins. So Vegas really needs 3 points. So a gain there. So again, I think we're looking at a playoffs that are almost decided. It's just the East wild card is the biggest decision here.
One thing I will always do, one thing is for certain, death taxes and the Maple Leafs, who barely shouldn't have got out of the first round last year. Somehow they did. But I bet against Toronto every single game. Bet the money line against them every single game. I don't care if Austin Matthews scores 500 goals in the next week. They will lose. It's like Rick Barnes coaching in college basketball. He will not get to the promised land. This team can't get out of its own way ever. It's been that way for decades, Mick. Can the Maple Leafs get out of the first round? Can they make a run at the Stanley Cup this year? How many years in a row have we had this conversation? 30?
Well, let's remember first of all that they beat a compromised Tampa team that had lost Chernak on the Bunting hit. Well, I admit I was wrong. I thought that Bunting got traded out of the playoffs, and maybe he did. But Pittsburgh's surge, Bunting has been key to it because he's playing in their top 6 and rejuvenating Evgeny Malkin. And if Pittsburgh somehow gets in, Bunting's going to be back in the playoffs.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
So hold the presses here. In the meantime, the Maple Leafs did make a very quiet defense acquisition, Lyubushkin, who I think is going to help settle their game back there. Giordano missed a lot of the season. If he's healthy, he plays younger than he is, which I think is 65. You'd think he'd be retired by now. Goaltending is always the question with the Leafs, but the Panthers have to get their game together, and they've been trying, but it's been fits and starts for them trying to get themselves going here. They realize they've been slumping, and the playoffs are knocking on the door. And they got to get themselves going. And so last time I saw Boston play them, and there's a lot more spirit in Florida's game. But it was a tough out, that game in Boston, unlike the one down in there. This one, this is a tough Florida team. If they get themselves together, you have to like them. You have to like them in the series, maybe like them in the conference. But I have to see it first because they've been pretty bad for a while here.
Well, Mick, I know you're short on time, right? You got to get out of here.
I got a lot I got to do, but we can let's do one more Q&A. What do you got?
All right, one more Q&A. Let's get it. Tonight, the Carolina Bruins game, and the Bruins have won 4 in a row now, Mick. Has your opinion changed about them at all? And they beat shut out Nashville. They won on the road, and beat a Carolina team that is tough for anybody to play. Anderson back in net tonight. I'm assuming for them, he's 8-1 with a GAA of 1.22. But what are your thoughts on not just this matchup tonight, but has your opinion changed at all from a couple of kooky losses? They beat Florida. That was a great win on Saturday. I watched that game start to finish. But your thoughts on the Bruins as we head out of here in tonight's game with Carolina?
Well, this is, I think Jim Montgomery was right when he said they're playing their hardest hockey of the year. This is the best version we've seen of them. Their game is really, it's balls to the wall. They're playing playoff hockey. They have been now since he called them out. They have to play with an extreme amount of desperation in their game. And in order to achieve results, it's a fine threshold. But once they cross it, they become a different hockey team, as we've seen. They are the only team in the NHL still not to lose 10 games in regulation at home or away. That still hasn't happened. Carolina is going to try hard to win their 50th of the season tonight and give the Bruins a 10 their 10th regulation loss at home. That would be significant in my mind. But I think the Bruins have, to me, those numbers are symbolic of the fact that the Bruins spend a lot of time on the ropes, but they're like Muhammad Ali on the ropes. 30 seconds left in the round, they're coming off the ropes and you're going to get popped. So that's the team that they've been. And I got to give them credit for playing their best brand of hockey, their most playoff type brand of hockey at this point in the season. We'll see if it sustains. We'll see if once the puck drops on the playoffs, if other teams can find a switch. Did the Bruins address everything at the trade deadline that I thought they should have? No. So really it depends on how they deploy. The defense matchups is going to go a long way to affecting, in my mind, how well they do. My eye is always on the left side of the Bruins defense. Hampus Lindholm's going to be in the defense matchup player with Brandon Carlo. They're giving the offensive matchups to Charlie McAvoy and Matt Grzelcyk. And how will that all go? Will they always be dumping left side and throwing the body? And how will those guys respond to it? And the Bruins do have other guys they can put there. Parker Wotherspoon can play up. Will that happen? I mean, how quickly those things change will tell me whether or not the Bruins have a good plan or not, and whether or not they're likely to win a series or two. They could. Never know.
They could. All right, Mick, you're the man tonight. That great presentation. You'll be out. For those of you watching on Nesson, you'll see Mick pregame. I think you should sing the night. Todd Angeli does a great job of, after Rene Rancourt. Bruins have been lucky with legendary anthem play. Why don't you sing the national anthem as well? Because I'm going to make a phone call, see if I can make that happen. Would you like that?
Only if they were playing a Canadian team, and only if I was allowed to sing it in French, which Harry Sinden would never allow.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, Mick, you're the man. Mick Colagio, you see him all over the place, one of the best hockey writers in the country, and obviously, and he is on Boston Hockey News, BostonHockeyNow.com, the Hockey News, RinkRapMC.com, and lots of other places. So have fun at your presentation tonight. Congratulations. That's quite the honor that you get to go out there and at least hold the trophy and present it. I think you should make the speech.
It's kind of a one-off here. I don't think I'm going to be like Kevin Kline in the movie Dave and grab the microphone when I wasn't supposed to. God bless America. I don't think anybody has anything to worry about tonight. We're just going to go and do it as I'm told.
So you staying up there the whole day? You're coming back? Are you staying up there for the game? Or I mean, you're going up for the game. I said, if you're going up there, how early do you have to get there?
Believe it or not, my report time is 6:30. So as the Bruins are on the ice for pregames, that's when the pregame presenters will be gathering at the Zamboni runway and just trying to avoid getting run over by one of the two Zambonis. And just mind my P's and Q's and just make sure I don't fall down and get my suit all wet. So,
don't cause a delay.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that annoying stanchion in the glass.
Oh, there's nothing worse than falling in civvies and civilian clothes on just after they make ice. That is the worst. It's like you peed your pants. It's like you peed your pants.
Oh, one of those corner puddles. I mean, it's like they're huge, those puddles.
It was bad enough wearing hockey pants when you fall on one of that. Forget about regular, suit pants. Yeah.
At least that repels the water.
All right, my friend, all the best. We'll talk again next week. We'll have a much clearer picture of the playoff picture in the NHL. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Pete.
All righty, take care. That is the one and only Mick Colagio joining me here on the Pete Sheppard Show here at the Naples Wealth Planning Studio on the Riptide Media Network. He is one of the really, really good guys in the business. Angel Martinez, a couple, executive producer and host extraordinaire. He will be on. Can you punch up your logo again? You've made with Defo. This is awesome. I love it. This is going to be the new logo for your show. And it's going to be, it looks like it's going to be 10 to noon. And it's going to be starting sooner rather than later. Our new webpage and our new app are going to be up also sooner rather than later. You see the Riptide Media Network up there right now. Looks pretty cool. Martinez and Defo unscripted. That is awesome. Angel looks like he's turning into Iron Man, and Defo is ordering another scotch or maybe a Bombay martini. I'm not really sure, but either one would work. That is awesome. That is awesome. in the remaining minutes that we have here, a few minutes, how about we do a little Today in Sports History, Angel?
Sure. Sounds good to me.
All right. In 1912, would you know, it was the first exhibition baseball game at Fenway Park. Red Sox played Harvard. Yep. They used to play them all the time. They played Harvard at Fenway. Now they play Northeastern in their first exhibition game. 1880, British Open men's golf. In Musselburgh Links, Scotsman Bob Ferguson wins first of 3 straight titles, beat Peter Paxton by 5 strokes.
Wow.
1925, the Babe was rushed to the hospital. Too many hot dogs.
Oh, so was he beating Joey Chestnut before Joey Chestnut?
Yes, he was. Babe Ruth was the original Joey Chestnut. But a lot of those hot dog guys and those professional eaters, they're skinny guys. They're not like big fat guys, most of them.
Right.
1962, Arnold Palmer, not the drink, the golfer, wins a 3-way playoff, beating Gary Player and Dow Finsterwald in the Masters. 1962, President John F. Kennedy threw out the first ball to open the baseball season at the new District of Columbia Stadium. And despite rain, record crowd of 42,143 shows up to see Senators pitcher Benny Daniels stop Detroit with a 5-hit 4-1 victory. How about that?
That's a good one.
That's not bad. Moving on closer to us, closer to time. San Diego Padres owner in 1974, Ray Kroc, criticizes his club over the public address system during a game. Quote, he says, ladies and gentlemen, you can go back and YouTube this, I believe. Says, ladies and gentlemen, I suffer with you. I've never seen such stupid baseball playing in my life. Now, the announcement occurs during San Diego's 9-5 loss to Houston. Coincidentally, the San Diego Chicken Team mascot makes its debut that day. Hearing of the incident, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn will make Kroc apologize to the fans. Can you even imagine that happening?
Not at all. By the way, that wasn't Ray A. Kroc, Mr. McDonald's himself.
Yes.
By the way, did you watch that?
No. Which one?
With Ray Kroc, how he took over the business from the 2 brothers that brought him in to show him how the business was, and he basically
you talk about McDonald's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that was excellent. Yes, very, very good stuff. Unbelievable. See, unrealized idea.
Yep.
Everybody has ideas. Got to make them work.
Sure do. Sure do.
1981 on opening day, Dodgers rookie pitcher Fernando Valenzuela and replacement of injured starter Jerry Royce shuts out the Astros 2-0 on 5 hits in his first major league start. He goes on to win 8 consecutive games. Fernando Mania, took over. All right, Angel, you the man. Anything else you got coming up? Because that's just about going to do it for us.
No, other than tonight, they'll have the line of scrimmage with Ryan Neff over on BroadSCSouth.com. And that's pretty much it, other than a bunch of stuff that I normally do throughout the day. And that's it. So thank you to everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks to Angel Martinez, and thanks to everybody who listened and texted in. Awesome stuff. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 to 10 a.m. We'll recap the day. We'll also do a Masters preview as well. In-depth Masters preview. Glad to have you with us here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Riptide Media Network here at live from the Naples Wealth Planning Studio. Have a great and safe rest of your Tuesday, everybody. I'm going home and take a nap. See you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Bye-bye.
Time on our sides, now it's fading fast. Every second, every moment, we've got to make it last. Touch you once, I touch you twice. I won't let go at any price. I need you now, like I need you then. You always said we'd still be friends someday. If you leave, I won't cry. I won't waste one single day. But if you leave, don't look back. I'll be running the other way. 7 years went under the bridge, like time standing still. Heaven knows what happened 'Cause now you gotta say you will. I touch you once, I touch you twice. I won't let go at any price. I need you now, like I need you then. You always said we'd meet again. Touch you twice, I won't let go at any price. I need you now, like I need you then. You always said we'd still be friends. I touch you once, I touch you twice. I won't let go at any price. I need you now, like I need you then. You always said we'd meet again someday.